Thing. Welcome back to Jeff Metal Daddies. I'm Jeff,
And I'm Donald Trump.
and you're listening to Death Metal Daddies.
It's gonna be
Well,
huge.
down, 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 down.
I think the podcast is great. Everyone else says it's great. They got tons of listeners. I got other listeners. No one
The only
else is
people,
listening to
the
any of
only
the other
people dogging on us
podcasts.
is the fake news.
Yeah.
They're
I can't
liars.
really
They're
do it.
traitors. But yeah, welcome back to Death Metal Daddies. We had a small break, so we're gonna have a lot of new music to talk about. But yeah, um, yeah, it's been a busy week for both of us, I think. So
It
we're just
it
gonna
has,
get
man.
into weeks, man. How you been?
Pretty good, man. Yeah, it's been a minute. It was kind of nice to have like that little extended break. But yeah, just took advantage of it, got some shit done. Got my truck back into the shop tonight, so it's getting professionally looked at because even though all the fixes that I've made on it and replacements that I've done, it's just I'm still getting like a rusty shit in my cooling system. So they're gonna flush it, hopefully do a thorough inspection, tell me what I need to fix on it next. But hunting season's in full swing. I've been out for a couple days. First spot that I picked was just total dead zone. Didn't really have much going on. Had some turkeys walk in on me, so that was pretty cool. Usually they say where, turkeys are, the deer are going to be. But as far as deer go, it was like dead. So I moved, um, sat a couple times, didn't see anything. Had a small doe come through though, and I decided to pass on it. And I was like, maybe something bigger is coming in behind her. But, of course that never happened. So that just goes to show you, I should have took my opportunity to get some meat in the freezer. But super pumped about that, man. Been trying to get out there as much as I can with that. I'm on a little break from school, so that's nice. Um, yeah, man. Um, let's see. Transitioning management at work, so that's like my job's basically the same, but I'm kind of getting a little pay bump in that step. So I'm also pumped about that. That's going to definitely help out. What about you, man? What you been doing? Vaping?
Yeah, it's
Sucking
still
on that
vaping.
suck stick?
Yeah, I got a new flavor, sour mango pineapple.
Mm,
Pretty good. I like it better than the other
mm,
one. Also picked up some new
nice.
scotch from the Macadoodles on the way home today.
Ooh,
Wanted to try something fancy since it's debate night. Wanted to have a little fanciness.
nice.
So I got
Yeah.
Dewar's French Cask Smooth. I guess it's cast in an apple brandy cask, but still scotch.
Yeah.
Not bad. I
Cool.
don't mind Dewar's. I'm
Nice. Yeah.
trying to find the.
I'm not really big on scotch. I haven't experienced many scotches in my day. I've had one with my hunting buddy, I think. Um, Mark, I think me and him had some scotch one night after, or it was like last year's deer season actually. But that's been it. Like as far as I can remember.
It's not
Have you had
too
a lot
bad.
of scotch?
I've really only tried Dewar's a long time ago. I think I got a Johnny Walker's Red Label, but that was when
Hmm.
I wasn't really drinking much whiskey. So it was a very strong thing for me at the time. So I just started mixing it. It wasn't until I got, I think my wife got me the white label Dewar's. That was when I actually started drinking everything neat. And so that's when I
Okay.
discovered Dewar's. That was pretty good. I kind of prefer whiskey in general. I was just trying to find a good whiskey right now. There's a lot of
Hmm.
ones that look good. They just seem super expensive. Like I saw that whistle pig you
Yeah.
were talking about. It was like forty
Yeah.
dollars a bottle where I went. Like I don't know if I
Yeah.
can justify that right now.
I mean, I think that's where it's coming to. I don't know that you're going to get a good bottle of whiskey for any cheaper than that.
Yeah,
You know, it's
I
like
was.
I mean that's pretty much the way I look at it. If I want a whiskey that I can sip on just straight from a glass, I'm willing to throw some dollars at it. I want it to be good. I don't want it to fucking make me gag every single time it's going down.
Yeah, but that's when I worry about is like I don't. If I'm wanting to try something new, I'm worried I'm going to buy spend all this money and then not like the one.
Yeah.
'Cause I remember
True, that
I
would
went.
suck to spend all that and not like it.
Because I remember I bought when I was in Ireland on a layover. I got some Irish whiskey, like 12 years
Mm.
old. So I like, this is gonna be my big whiskey. I'll save it for like my firstborn. Forgot about it. Then when Jensen was born, I finally opened it up, tried it, sucked. So I'm worried.
Ooh,
It's things like that that makes me worry about spending too much money on it. There was one I was looking
true.
at. It was like 40 or 50, but I was like, that looks good, sounds good. I forgot what the description was, but it said to ask a taste test from the front people. It's like, nah, that's kind of a red flag for me.
Yeah. Man, I guess that's where like a distillery would really come in handy. You get to
Oh
like
yeah,
try them out all the different ones and stuff. I don't think I've ever been to one. That would be a really fun trip though, I feel
yeah. I want
like.
to go to the one in I think is it Tennessee, the Jack Daniels one.
Yeah, if it's still there
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
floods. Sorry, not to laugh. That was terrible, but
yeah.
yeah, apparently
Um,
they're literally in a shitstorm right now.
yeah, yeah. Other than buying the new Scotch, we got we got chickens. I don't know if I we talked about that last or not. I don't know if
You
I have.
gotten ducks last time. I didn't know if you had the chickies.
Yeah, just got chickens. Got five of them now.
Oh wow, okay.
Hmm.
Nice. You gonna kill them or get some eggs
No, they're gonna
first?
be our egg layers.
Nice. Okay.
Hmm.
Do you have to get certain kinds of chickens for that? Because some don't lay eggs,
Some are
right?
better for it than others. Like there's this
Okay.
cinnamon. I think it's cinnamon something. They lay an egg every day, but they don't
Wow.
live as long because obviously their body's going through a lot. We got
Huh.
Well Summers, which is like the classic old brown reddish chicken, which is what I wanted. Then we got one that's called olive egger. It's called that because obviously olive eggs are olive colored. So
Oh.
those are the types of chickens we get. We want to expand and get more. There's a certain one I want, but they're expensive. It's like $40 a chicken, as opposed to
Oh
the
my
five
God.
dollars one I got. But this is like an all black one, and even if you pull off all their feathers, like their meat is black, their bones are black. It's pretty much like
What?
yeah, it's like this. Like I want to say it's Indonesian or something. They're like 40
What the
bucks,
hell?
but they look like a gothic chicken, and I want one so
Wow.
bad.
That would be pretty badass. It's like a black Phillip, but like a black chickie.
Yeah,
You'd have to
because
like
they
name it something like that.
black chickie. Yeah, because they even had
Yeah.
a picture
Or
of like a de-skinned chicken side by side with it, and the white chicken, then the all black chicken, almost like that Burger King when they made the black Whopper or Gothic Whopper, exact same thing.
wow. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
we got
Yeah, that'd be
chickens.
pretty sweet.
Yeah, I want to get those. There's a couple others I want. That's the white whale I want to get. But we also went to Colorado last Wednesday, and we just got back yesterday. So that was
Hmm.
a lot of
How was
fun.
that?
Oh, I love
That's awesome.
Colorado, so it was a blast.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. It's a beautiful place. I
Hmm.
definitely enjoy it. It's been a long time since I've been. Whereabouts were you in Colorado?
We started off in Colorado Springs because we did the Great Wolf Lodge for the kids, which they loved. Um,
Oh, okay.
and then we went up to Granby, which I guess is like deep in the mountains. It's this beautiful, like kind of like a ski
Oh,
area.
yeah, we were okay. So if you go like 10 minutes past that, that's where we went to what's it called? Damn it.
Winter Park.
No, Grand Lake
Oh,
or
okay. Is that where
yeah,
the yeah that giant
we
lake
were just right
where
up past it. Yeah.
yeah
Yeah,
I
that's
was
exactly where we stayed.
yeah we went up there a lot because that's where I had to drop Danny off for her photo shoot, and I even had the kids play on that beach area near that lake. That's a beautiful lake.
Yeah.
That's what I love about Colorado. Everything's beautiful there. I love
Dude,
it.
yeah, that town is literally like a Hallmark movie town, isn't it?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah,
especially I don't know how the weather was for you guys, but when we went, like there was still like snow on the ground in areas and stuff. And I can't remember if it actively snowed when we were there, but like it was literally just picturesque of a fucking Hallmark movie. It's kind of weird because we stayed in this like cabin, even though it's like in the town, but the animals are like so wild out there. Like they have locks on the dumpsters. You have to make sure you lock the dumpster after you use it because of bears like coming into town. And then there's also like posters like keep an eye out for Hubert the moose or whatever the fuck his name was. It's just like this bull moose that wanders the town. It's just like, dude, it's fucking awesome. We never saw him, but we did see like foxes just run down the street, roam through the town. And I don't know, man. It was a fantastic place to visit. Very small town though, not even a big population. Kind of seemed like there's a lot of old mining towns out there, and that's where Grand Lake originated. It used to be an old, I think, miners town, like in the late 1800s or something like that is when it was established. But fuck yeah, dude, it was absolutely beautiful out there.
Oh yeah, and I
So
was
yeah,
even.
Granby, that's that's like a place I would consider relocating,
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
me and Dan were talking about possibly if once I retire, we moving out there. Like, because they even the condo that we stayed in was for sale. It's expensive, but I would be fine with having that as like a vacation home, or even I don't know, maybe move. But I
Yeah.
would love to go back there over and over again because, like you said, it's these towns. These towns are like Hallmark towns. I even told Danny, like, this town reminds me of that town in your show you love, Gilmore Girls. Like it's just this quaint, small,
Yeah.
beautiful town. And when we went, it's not winter yet there, but it's fall. So you see all the leaves like changing from
Mm.
green to that beautiful yellow all across the mountains. Ah, I love it.
Uh, Yeah, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. It makes me want to go back. I'm gonna
It
have
did
to
make me want
trek
to
out
listen
there.
to a lot of Colorado metal. I only know of
Oh,
two, but I
Colorado.
was listening to a lot of it. Cephalic Carnage and Primitive Man when I was out
Oh,
there.
okay. Oh, I didn't know those were Coloradians.
I want to say they're both Denver.
Okay, cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Colorado's great. Broncos
Denver's
won.
De Denver's kind of a shithole, if I'm being honest, though.
Uh,
Like it.
I'm not going to debate that because we went to the state capitol because that's like Annie's thing. Take a picture with her at every
Uh-huh.
state capitol we go to. We were a little like I love Denver Broncos. We drove by the stadium, that looked cool. But once we got into deep downtown, I was like, oh man, like there was
Yeah,
about I want to say at least 20 homeless on the block of the Capitol.
yeah, that it's exactly the same. That's exactly how it was when we went. We were out there like I think that trip was 2 years ago now or something. And yeah, it was the same thing, man. Tents like on the base of the Capitol and shit. And I went to this old street. Me and Schaefer, when we went out, because we went out to Denver back in like 2013 or some shit. And I took a picture of him against this wall, like mural thing. It was just a really cool fucking, uh, street mural and I found it again. So I wanted to stop, take a picture of it. Well, I stopped, get out, and as I'm taking a picture of it, there's this guy like fucking 30 feet down the street. Yeah, what the fuck, motherfucker? Blah blah blah. Just like, but he's not talking to anyone. He's like talking to himself, like cursing, getting pissed off, and then he's like pacing back and forth, like in a 10 foot, just like walking back and forth. It's like, what the fuck, man? Mental health and like homelessness just combined. Like you see it, it's just weird. It's just so fucking weird.
And I do wonder if maybe Denver is maybe one of the best places. I hate to say it, but I think that probably if I was homeless, that would probably be the best place because it gets hot there. However, it's like a dry heat, so it's not as bad as like Missouri, is what I think of.
Yeah.
But I also just the entire time was just thinking of the South Park of with all the homeless in South Park, and they're trying to convince them to go to California to cool to the homeless.
Oh man, that's
Yeah,
hilarious. Yeah, it's yeah, I don't know, man. I love Colorado. It is kind of like it's one of my favorite states in the US, I think. I don't know. I haven't even been to a lot, but that's definitely a problem with Denver. It's kind of becoming a shithole, but
we did go
still
to the
still a
Garden of
lot of beauty out
Gods.
there. Yeah. Yeah, dude, that place is awesome. I've
Yeah,
been there, but I haven't really ventured that park like I really want to. Did you guys?
we wanted to because so we got went there, went into that like visitor center, but in there,
Uh-huh.
Danny got a little bit anxiety because we had the kids all around, but it's kind of a lot of people in there, and she
Oh my
noticed it
God,
more
it
than I
seems
did.
packed.
Well, it was more of like and I think she was complaining about it. I didn't notice until she pointed out. Everywhere we went, there's a lot of tourists, and when it comes to tourists in Colorado, they're super annoying because they're just focused on their phones. So they'll walk around with
Oh,
their
I
phones
know.
and accidentally maybe run to one of our kids, kind of thing. So she had anxiety the whole time. So we
Yeah.
left there. It's like, all right, let's just drive through the park. It's beautiful because it is beautiful. Garden of the Gods is great.
Yeah.
We drove up to the one big red rock that you see when you walk in, and we went
Hmm.
try to go in the parking lot, but it's all packed. There's just cars just doing the whole like shark in the water, trying to see if there's a someone's gonna come out soon. It's like, all right, I guess we're just gonna drive around and see it, not actually venture it out. But
Yeah, it was definitely, I had the same experience. It was like navigating all the fucking people like glued to their phones. They're all like, doing photo ops. You have to dot walk around them, don't walk in front of their fucking cameras. Yeah, it gets so annoying, man. It's just like it is a great park, but it's shit like that that will ruin it. We ended up though, we were in an Airbnb on that trip, and we also went to the botanical gardens in Denver. That was
okay,
actually amazing. That was really cool. There's a lot of people there still, but it wasn't as like photo opty. People were spaced out more, kind of fucking mind their own business. That was a lot better experience. And they like had some special event that night we didn't partake in, but it looked fun. But they had like wine and a movie in the grass. So like after the botanical garden kind of closed, like you just kind of sat on this giant lawn with like, and there's like tons of like couples with wine and shit. I don't know. Looked fun, but
yeah,
definitely kind of more hipster than um what I'd be used to. But it looked cool. I don't know.
yeah. I would love to go back, and it sounds like Danny would like to. It just depends on when and where we would go, because obviously tours are always going to be a problem there, and also
Hmm.
it's super expensive there. Gas was $1 more per gallon where we went.
Yeah, that's crazy. I could see that though, and especially up in those mountain towns, I felt like it got even more expensive.
Yeah, and they do a trick. I noticed it, and it annoyed me as soon as I saw it. They post as 360,
Uh-huh.
but when I go to the pump, the 360 is at like 85, but Danny's vehicle can't take anything less than 87, which is
Oh,
which was 380.
shit.
So I don't know
Damn.
why you're going to advertise your cheapest only as your unleaded price.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy.
Because here, that's I'm pretty sure 87 is the normal unleaded, but for some reason over there, they're advertising
Yeah.
their super cheap one with all the ethanol and not a lot of actual fuel.
Yeah, see, I don't even know that I've seen like an 85 option around here. I think that's just a in-city thing, isn't it?
I
I
think
don't know.
so. And usually they will label it as like, yes, that's the cheapest, but they'll have it separate than the unleaded. This was just they had unleaded
Yeah.
price, diesel price until you get to the pump. I was like, well, I'm
Huh.
kind of getting fucked right now. What's wrong with
Yeah.
my car?
Yeah, right. That's crazy. That sucks.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Colorado's beautiful. I'd still love to live there.
For sure.
Broncos
All
won, by the
right.
way. I just want to throw that out there.
Uh, oh, geez, whatever. Pish posh applesauce. Who's
Kept
their
Aaron
QB now?
Bo Nix. He's a rookie.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's right.
Kept Aaron
Heard of
Rodgers
him.
from a
I haven't
touchdown,
watched him yet. Oh, did
and
he really?
Aaron
Or
Rodgers never scored a touchdown in the game. It was 10-9.
wow. Oh, the final score was?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. So that was a defensive game.
Oh, very much so. It was also
Wow.
storming the entire game, like pouring down rain the
Yeah.
entire time. Bo
That's
Nix only had
awesome.
60 passing yards and still won.
Damn. Did you guys go to this game?
No, I wanted to, but they played in New York.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I
But
got you.
we noticed Jensen loved Colorado, so he wants to go for his birthday because that's what we do. We either do a birthday party or you choose a location you want to go to for family vacation. He wants to do
Okay.
Colorado, and
Wow.
on his birthday, the Broncos play the Chiefs in Denver.
Ooh. Oh, man. Perfect opportunity. Wow.
It's just that tickets are super expensive because the
Oh, I
Chiefs.
bet. Yeah. Even out there?
Yeah, it's
That's
135
crazy.
a ticket for I think nosebleeds.
Holy shit. That is crazy. Wow. And my honest opinion, man, I went to a Chiefs game a few years back, and it was even on their Super Bowl year, but it was a game that I was going into it. I was like, oh, we're gonna fucking win this. There's no doubt. It's the Indianapolis Colts. Like, what do the Colts do? Well, they always beat the fucking Chiefs. And ever since that game, we have not beat the fucking Colts, dude. Every single year, that is the one team or one of a couple that gets a win on us. And I don't know what it is, dude, but we always lose by the fucking Colts. And it's like ever since I've been to that game, we have never won against the Colts. So it's like cursed. And I fell asleep during the game. Now, me and Sammy did party our asses off the night before. So I was like going into it very tired, and we pregame like a motherfucker in the parking lot. Did the whole tailgate party, had a great time, and it was a primetime game on a Sunday night. So we're going up there. We get to our seats, man. We're pretty kind of close in the nosebleeds area, and I'm vaping and fucking security is like pitching a fit and this dude like posts up like I don't know 20 feet away and I can just see him like peering over at me and he catches me. Hey, you can't do that up here. Dude, come on. It's a fucking vape, like
And also,
nicotine
you're
vape.
outside.
And he was just like, yeah, right. He was tripping on it, dude. And then he was also like the guy that was working but getting in real intense into the game. So any play that the Chiefs would fuck off or fuck up, like he was getting pissed off, like, come on, man, come on, like causing a scene. Like, dude, you're working. What are you doing? Like, I don't know. But anyways, uh, it got like so lackluster. Like from where I was, I couldn't even tell what was going on. I couldn't tell when a pass was made. I couldn't tell if it was intercepted, fumbled, you name it. I didn't know what the fuck was going on unless I heard the guy, third down or first down, whatever. It's just like, so I was honestly, I left with that experience being like, I think I'd rather watch it on TV unless I'm going to be close. Like, because I just don't know. I don't know. I give it another shot, I guess, maybe on the better level of sobriety. But yeah, my experience was definitely a dud. And then getting the loss.
Yeah,
But
I've
that
only
game
been
got
to
so
one.
damn boring. It got so damn boring. It was like around halftime, maybe after, maybe before. I don't even remember. But like I just kind of got a little snoozy. And I just like starting out of my head. Next thing you know, I'm out, and some guy behind me is just like, "Hey, hey, buddy, we're still in this. We're still in this," and like got everyone around me to look at me and like start laughing. So I was just like, "Oh shit!" I like look back. I remember I was so tired, like I was going like cockeyed, like looking at it. I was just like, I probably look like a hot mess. It was hilarious though. But yeah,
Yeah, I've
which
only
one
been
have you
to.
been to?
It was a long time ago. I want to say it was 2006. I went to a Broncos Chiefs game in Denver. It was great.
Oh well.
I still remember how much I love their stadium because I remember we were at the top floor, nosebleeds, obviously, but they had a bellhop for the elevator, which is all fancy, like
Oh,
Buffalosa and stuff. But what I loved about the Broncos Stadium is you can even without the announcers, you can tell what's going on. Uh, they if there's an incomplete pass by the other team, the announcer will say something like, "And that passes," and then the entire crowd just chants "incomplete." Every down,
oh
there's a
wow.
different sound effect for what, so we know what how intense it is. Like third down, there's the purge sound, stuff like that. Um,
Huh.
yeah, I love the Broncos Stadium. There, it's a great vibe. I would love to go
That's cool.
again. I'm just worried about. I remember being as a kid, I was afraid of heights. Still am a little bit, but taking my kids up those steep ass seats
Oh
up in the
man.
nosebleeds,
Yeah.
that is going to give me so much anxiety, especially with my little ball of energy that is Jensen. I
Yeah.
don't know if I want to do that. So I would want to pay good money for it. And I don't know if I
How
want to
old
be
is
with
he?
his Chiefs. He's 3. He'll be turned 4 if we go to that game.
Mm, man, yeah. It's like a gamble age too, you know. You
Hmm.
don't that's like that age where you don't really know the length of their attention span. Like you know that they have interest in it, but it's just like, are we gonna last the whole time or Is this gonna end up being a fucking, temper tantrum, have to like call it early? I don't know.
I don't know. He did good at a Blues game, so I feel like he would do good
Really?
at a football game.
Yeah,
But
that's cool.
I don't know. One thing I do want to add: we went to a store I'd never heard of before called Shields in Colorado
Oh
Springs.
yeah.
Or yeah, yeah, that place was great. It's like a Dick's Sporting Goods mixed with like a Bass Pro, but even bigger. It was two tiers. They had a Ferris wheel in the middle of the store. But what was
Hell yeah.
cool about it that I want to bring up is on the second floor they had a animatronic Abraham Lincoln who would do the his one famous speech. What was the speech again? I forget what it's called. The Emancipation
Oh shit.
Proclamation. I want to say.
Yeah, or yeah.
But he's saying that. But on the other side of the same floor, they also had animatronic John Elway doing his pregame speech before Super Bowl.
Wow. What a comparison.
Yeah, that's what I just want to bring up is that in Denver, they are on the same level. John Elway
Damn.
is a national figure, and well, a state figure
In
on
a
par with
Shields,
Abraham Lincoln.
where you can buy a shit ton of guns. I love it.
Oh yeah, there that place was great. I wish we had one here.
I do too. I got their catalog in the mail randomly. I don't even know how the hell I got it because we don't. I've never been to a Shields. Uh, don't know that I ever shopped there online even. But randomly one day, this fat catalog, Shields on it, and it's just like fucking guns. It was mostly guns. It was mostly a gun catalog, but it was awesome. All kinds of outdoor shit too, and that's kind of the vibes that I got, like a different Bass Pro with a
Oh
different
yeah,
name.
their gun selection was massive. And they even had like a special kiosk with like fancy rifles and shotguns, even like old timey ones that you can buy, like special collectors
Oh,
ones if you want. It was huge. It
hell
looked like
yeah.
and they even had it kind of set up almost like a when you go to like a AT&T store, like people with like little iPads coming up, like, here we can sit up here, I can do your background check right here, making sure they get people guns fast like that in Colorado. I'm making sure
That's
you're walking out of here with a gun.
that's crazy. Yeah. You get a gun and you get a gun and you get a gun. Yeah, it's funny.
Meanwhile, I go to Bass Pro and it takes like 2 hours because it's only one person doing the whole thing.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my
That's
Colorado
cool.
trip.
Hell yeah, that's awesome, man. That's exciting.
I will say being in Colorado made it hard to build the second playlist because I wasn't in
Mm,
that mindset. And also listening to the music was kind of hard to at the time because I think I built the playlist and started listening to it when I was babysitting the kid, watching the kids while Danny was doing her wedding shoot. So already I wasn't
yeah.
paying too much attention. But would you like to get
That's
into
all
the new
right.
music?
Yeah, we might as well. And I'm just gonna throw this out there. That second playlist, there's a king of all the music that's gonna sweep the whole thing under the rug anyways. So I think we know who that
We'll
is.
see. There's one I have opinion on. Actually, there's a couple. I listened to
Okay.
all of it today, so we'll see.
Okay.
But let's start. Do we want to do a collective, or do we want to just do each playlist individually?
Um, fuck it. Let's just do a collective.
All right.
We'll just jam it all in there. You
So
can, I
if
guess you could post these however you want to, if you want to post them separate or whatever. But
I got you. So with that, I'm probably gonna have multiple favorites then. What was your favorite album of the 2 weeks?
favorite album of the 2 weeks. Hang on, I'm bringing it up here.
Or
Um,
if you have multiple, because I have multiple, you can name them all, and we can go over them.
okay. I'm gonna have a couple, I think. So yes, first and foremost, Kubla Khan.
Yes.
Badass
Yes.
album, dude. Exhibition of prowess. Um, if you haven't listened to it, I mean, I guess you don't really like metal, but because I believe all metalheads at this point have probably heard this album, and it just kicks ass, dude. It's a fucking absolute ass beater. And yeah, dude, it rules. Ton of fun. It reminded me of I don't know, Kubla Khan kind of seems like they went a couple albums back and resurrected like a sound that I don't know, like an earlier Kubla Khan sound for some reason.
Mhm.
But just did it masterfully. And I dug the hell out of it, man. Favorite tracks, Supreme Ruler, of course. Darwinism kicks off to a great start. Hannibal goes into another banger. That one's awesome. I love that feature. This is
Yeah,
the guy David Peters, or Dave Peters. I don't know who he is. I don't know his band.
I was gonna say the exact same thing. His
Um,
feature is great, but I have no idea where he's from.
yeah, but his vocal, man, it's such a great like I love these bands these days and like doing this wide contrast of difference in the vocals. Like you get Honeycutt's vocal and this guy, they sound totally different, but it's just a perfect kind of yin and yang blend, you know. Like you just got two totally different things making it one thing sound great. And that track Cannibal Dude just it comes together with his feature and it kicks into that fucking breakdown. And that breakdown line is I stand by my word when I say fuck you all. It's just like, oh hell yes, dude. And then just right into it. And then Honeycutt says it. It's like, hell yeah. But that dude's vocals, Dave Peters, I wanted to bring that up. He has this like Pantera vibe. Did you get that at all?
Ooh,
Could you kind of
Honeycut.
hear that? No, the Dave Peters guy.
Um,
It definitely kind of had some like Anselmo vibes. I was kind of
I don't
catching.
know,
I thought.
because I'm having a hard time because it felt like seemed like there was almost two. Because at first I thought there was two different guest features on it. Because there's the one part where it's
Oh,
like, all
okay.
right, someone else is in it. Honeycutt comes back in, then different vocals come back in. Are both of those Dave Peters just different styles, or is Matt just changes his voice a little bit on one of them? Because I'm assuming
I
that last
think,
part is Dave Peters.
yeah, I think it's just Dave Peters and Honeycutt going back and forth.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I know that he kind of kicks into that line, like I said, and then Honeycutt comes in and says that line too, and it just fucking doubles up the badassness of it, man. But yeah, hell of an album, dude. Hell of an album. That track's one of my favorites. Um, Mud, another really great one. 972, badass. Low Tech. That's probably I think my favorite single they released for this album. Super groovy, hell of a jam. Um, I really don't know that I care much for A Hopeless Fate with Jamie Josta. I don't know. But Ant Pile 2, badass, dude. Like they brought back the squeals, just did it like redubbed, like just squeal, extra squeal on it, or pinch harmonics, whatever you want to call it. Super awesome though. Hell yeah. What'd you think of this album?
Uh, you pretty much hit everything I was to say. I fucking love this album. I listened to it again today, even though I was supposed to listen to the new playlist, but
Yeah.
I wanted to listen to this one again. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, Darwinism, great song. That had some of the cool. It's that's I love this band because sometimes they can do that like a caveman, just dumbed down stuff. Sometimes like on a
Yeah.
motherfucker bang your motherfucking head or something like that in Darwinism.
Yeah, that's literally the breakdown. And he says that like a couple times. And at first it like kind of turned me off because I just thought it was so simple. But then it's like it it it's like you said though, it's a great version of just like a dumbed down, like it's simplicity at its finest, really, you know.
Hmm.
They didn't have to do much and they really didn't do much intricate work on this album as they have in previous ones. I think it doesn't
Hmm.
sound as like intricate as their album Absolute, where
Hmm.
I felt like the riffs were a lot more detailed. Here it's just a lot of just palm mutes, open chugs, kind of. I don't know. Great simplicity though, man. I definitely agree there.
Yeah, the only one I really noticed with like an actual intricate riff was 972. But other than that, like you said, it's really just a lot of like caveman, let's get dumb and have fun kind of music. Um,
For sure.
then there's song X, which I guess I didn't know they were straight edge. That's what I'm getting from that song.
Yeah, he definitely calls it out in that one. I don't know how legit that is, or if that's what they're doing, that's where they're going. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't research that, but I definitely heard it in that track. So
Yeah. And the last thing I want to say about this album is on Amp Pal 2, I wish I could relive the moment of hearing it for the first time once more time because that was awesome. Just
Yeah.
the build up, and then just like you don't know what he's gonna say because there's not much words in the first one. It's just shit, son of a bitch, and then this one's just two, and then
Ooh.
it's like
Yeah.
and then it breaks down even slower to that callback of the original pinch harmonics in the first one.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
dude.
I do want to add though, because there was we missed them last night, and I looked up the set list. They ended
Yeah.
their set list was great. I couldn't have picked a better set list. Maybe I had cloth ears, but other than that, it's a great set list. They ended with Ant Pile, then Ant Pile 2 as their closer for it,
Oh, damn. That's pretty
which
dope.
that would have been awesome.
Did they play still hands down my favorite Kublai contract, those The Truest Love. Did they play that?
I don't think they did. I think the only one they played from that one was Boom Slang, and I don't know, they might have played. Let me look it up real quick. I know they played well, obviously Ant Pile. They played Swan Song.
That would have made the perfect set list for me if they threw that track in there. But I should have asked Josh. He went to it. He caught it. He said it was an absolute stellar show. His favorites were actually Lorna Shore and Whitechapel.
I did look up Lorne, or Whitechapel's set list, and actually, I was a little surprised they did. They actually did a
He's
full like
he said
throughout
they
their
went full
career.
fucking heavy. He said
Yeah,
they
it
just
was.
went total heavy.
They start off with "This Is Exile" into "Possession."
Oh wow. Hell yeah, dude. That would have been sick.
Here we go. So they did start off with "Supreme Ruler," "Theory of Mind," "Low Tech," "Resentment," "Boom Slang," "Swan
Mm.
Song," "The Hammer," "Loyal to None," "Self-Destruct,"
Oh,
"Darwinism,"
okay.
then Ant Pile 2. So they did not play Truest Love.
Okay.
So it
I
looks
think
like they didn't play
self-destruct
much.
is on absolute though, right?
Yeah, because I think
Yeah.
that's the one with that weird sample at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It looks
That's
like they
also
only
been
played
sick.
two from that album, mostly
Right
their
on.
new album. Either way, though,
Yes.
Kublai Khan, great album, Exhibition of Prowess. Check it
Hell
out.
yeah, dude. Absolutely. Next on the first playlist, I liked Glacial Tomb. I didn't give it that much attention at first, but I listened to this twice and grew to really like it. I definitely dug what they were doing. Very heavy, lots of blasting. It's kind of like I kind of compared it to like a Hate Eternal mixed with some kind of like other vibes. Obviously, you kind of have that higher scream in there that kind of reminded me of earlier Black Dahlia. Uh, but pretty gnarly, man. Did you
Mhm.
check out that album?
I did. I don't remember too much about it. I remember being very middle of the road with it. I
Okay.
remember liking Void Womb. Other than that, I wasn't too captivated by it. I don't know. I think for me, it was there's a lot of music on this play on that week's playlist where it's like I don't know these bands, so I want to check them out. So I think I
Yeah.
got about halfway through it and moved on to the next one. I don't. I remember not hating it. I just remember thinking like it was very middle of the road. So I don't think
Okay.
I ever went back to it, at least in
Fair
my
enough.
for my taste.
Yeah, I really dug it. And that one was called let's see, Glacial Tomb, Lightless Expanse, I believe is the album name. But
They do have a cool
check that
album
out.
art.
Oh yeah, badass cover, man. Very cool looking cover. Very just I don't know, very big looking, kind of grand, like has like a space kind of fucking weird god thing. Very cool. Awesome detail. But yeah, pretty sweet album. The rest of this playlist I didn't really delve into.
Mhm.
Did you want to highlight anything on this?
I mean, I could probably talk about the others. There's only one other that I have a positive for. Kingdom of Giants, I wasn't too into. It was felt like kind of like modern metalcore, and I wasn't too into that. Defiled, I feel like would be cool if I was in the '80s and it came out in the '80s because it has a very raw '80s sound. It's just at the
Okay,
time I was not in the mood for it. It has very
fair
like
enough.
drums are very up front. And it's not a bad sound, it's just not something I was in the mood for. The album that I really liked, other than Kublai Khan, was Eradicator. This reminded me a lot of Anthrax, kind of that
Ooh,
East Coast style thrash, like somewhere between like
okay,
Overkill and Anthrax, just a little bit heavier. I think the song I liked back most out of that was Kill Cloud and Hell Smiles Back. This was a fun album, but like I said, this that week's playlist I didn't listen to too much. It was mostly Eradicator. Everything I listened to a little bit, but it was mostly Eradicator and Kublai Khan. Kublai Khan, obviously, the most.
okay,
I just that Eradicator's album was called The Paradox.
okay, nice. Hell yeah. Other than that, I didn't delve into too many albums. I threw a single on here if you want to get into the singles. The last single I threw on was Aberrant Waltz by
Oh,
Disembodied
you
Tyrant.
added that, huh?
Yeah, did you check that out?
I checked that out just today because I thought I added it. It's like, oh, I forgot. I guess I didn't listen to this. I forgot to put it on there. This song was fucking great.
Yeah. It is crazy. There is so damn much going on in this track. It was like it almost gave me anxiety. But intense, man. Just fucking relentless, like
Hmm.
from start to finish, man. But I thought it was gnarly as hell and deserved a highlight. So,
Oh yeah,
because I know a lot of people have been buzzing about that one. So
yeah. One thing
that's
I you did a great job of adding that because I remember listening to this and thinking like, all right, like I love the EP they dropped, but it's one of those things like, is it a one hit wonder? Listen to this, like, yes, they are doing the black and deathcore, but this is at a fury and intensity that none of the other those bands are doing. That's what makes it more
yeah.
interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's aggressive as hell. Like it just sounds fucking mean and nasty, man. But like they
Hmm.
I don't know, they're just doing a lot. It's super fast, very intricate instruments. Very crazy. Should definitely check that one out.
Is there any other
Wow.
singles? Because I feel like there's another single. I put it on there because I thought you would
Yes.
probably like this.
That was the only single that I put on. But we had I Won't Let You Die that was dropped by Signs of the Swarm. Did you listen to this one?
I did, and I
Okay.
liked this one.
Okay. Interesting.
What did you think of it?
I I was kind of turned off, man. Like I don't know. I love this band nowadays because I kind of like have a man crush on David Simonik and his vocals. It's just I think he's doing something that no one else, I don't really hear a lot of other dudes doing. He just sounds really unique. But I don't know that I really love how much effects and like the tech that I'm like hearing in their mixes now in their music. It
Hmm.
seems like they're kind of implementing more of that. I don't know the right words to how to uh, the right words that I'm looking for. It's
To
like the
produce.
electronic kind of shit. Yeah, like I don't know. Um, I listened to it a couple times more because I wanted to kind of give it more of a chance, and I did. And I enjoy it, but it's I don't know that I love it. Love it.
Hmm.
What do you think of this one?
I liked it. I liked it better than I would say the Absevere album. I'm still
Hmm.
haven't fully delved into Amongst the Low and Empty. I did like this one. I didn't think I would because I did not like the song title. I thought it was one of those just weird, cheesy kind of things. So I kind of went into it as like, all right, this is gonna be dumb. But I did enjoy it. I thought this was one of the better of the singles that was on the playlist until I listened to Disembodied Tyrant, obviously today. But at the time, I thought this was one of the better singles that was on that week's playlist.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I was kind of turned off by the title myself because I follow this dude on social media and so like David Simonik, he got married over like this past year. And so I I wasn't sure if this was like his metal love song or some shit like that. I'm sure it's not. Maybe it is. I don't really know. I haven't delved into the lyrics, honestly. Um, just because I really haven't had the time. I probably will eventually. But so at first, I was kind of put off by that. But like I said, listened to it a couple more times and did grow to enjoy it. But yeah. So that was really the only singles that I kind of focused on. Um, okay, so you did have another one on here, Black Label Society, The Gallows. I I honestly enjoyed this, man. I haven't heard Black Label Society in a long time, and I'm not like a really big Black Label Society listener or fan by any means, but they're kind of like a classic sound to me.
Hmm.
Stillborn will never leave my head. I can play that song in my head on demand. I think for good reason. It's a great track. Zach Wild, he's a great musician. But I don't know. I didn't love this track or fall in love with it, but yeah, I don't know. I thought it was kind of refreshing to hear this band again. What do you think of that one? Did you listen to
I didn't mind. I didn't know how your reaction would be with me adding
it?
it. I go in and out of liking Black Label Society. I just cannot get into his vocals, but it is one of those things where it is just like it's that classic sound. You're not going to get anything like breaking the mold or anything like that. But I feel like that's kind of the charm of Black Label Society. It's not something like he's not breaking new ground. He's not creating some like new sound. It's more of just
Mhm.
like this is the music I think of like at a bar room or like a
Yeah.
biker bar or like this is the music I think of like when with dads working on their cars in the garage.
Okay.
It creates
Yeah.
that almost like wholesome feeling a little bit. Even though it's metal, it has that wholesome feeling somehow. I do
Yeah.
enjoy that part of it. This one, um, it's kind of the same as always with Black Little Society. It has that same feel, cool rock and vibe. Obviously, Zach Wild's going to put in a cool solo. So yeah, it's not bad. I would say it's Black Label Society. That's you get what you know what you're going to get with them. You're not going to be disappointed, but it's never, in my opinion, never going to exceed expectations. He's going to meet exactly what you're expecting from him. No
Yeah.
more, no less.
For sure. I definitely agree with that one. That was probably it for me, man. I didn't delve into the other singles too much.
You're not
Under
missing
Oath,
much.
yeah, I listened to the Under Oath single, but that is just, it sounds like a different band. Like, obviously the vocals sound the same. Like, I don't have any problem against the clean singing. It's good singing, but yeah, just not my dish, man. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I used to love Under Oath. This song, the first I want to say minute, is like, what the hell is this? Is this where they're going? But it was the weird of how they did it so like poppy and like ballroomy to then just like a heavy break all of a sudden, then back to it. I feel like I kind of get what they're doing. They're doing their two extremes of super clean and super heavy, but going back and
Hmm.
forth. But I don't think that makes for a good song. It's not something I want to listen to again.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
didn't think I didn't feel that it meshed very well, but I don't know. I'm not an avid Under Oath listener. Never really was. Obviously they're classics, I know, and used to really get into, but I've just kind of drifted far from that band. But
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. Um,
What did you think
so
of
I guess
Misanthrope?
Misanthrope, I don't know. I don't know that I listened to that one. Oh, the
This was the
Chainsaw
Slam
Skin
one.
Graft. Yeah. Okay. Damn. Yeah, no, I missed this one. I think I was too excited to get to the Kubla Khan, so I think I
I
skipped
got you.
over it.
Understandable. I put this on here solely because I was excited because Angel Ochoa from Cephalic Tripsy is on it, which you know what? If you see that name, you know what you're going to get. You're just going to get pure slam, pure
Yeah.
good slam. That's pretty much what it is. Kind of like what I was saying with Black Rose Side. No more, no less. It's pretty good. Just fun slam. Uh,
Okay.
then the only other single was Nihilist, which uh, I think ruined it for me was having Signs of Swarm right before because it's almost like the same vibe, just a more boring version of the same vibe.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on
I
that one?
I noticed a swift change in like production sound, and I did not like this sound. I thought the uh, just the bassiness of it was way too much, and the levels weren't really right. I skipped over it. I was kind of instantly turned off with it after, like you said, especially right after Signs of the Swarm. That's obviously some big shoes to fill. So, um, yeah, I skipped over that one. But yeah,
That I think that concludes that week's playlist. We have one more
yep.
playlist to go through.
Let's get into it.
What was your favorite album of this one? I think I know, but
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, I think it's safe to say it's the Kings of that are Black Dahlia. And I was, kind of sorry, I'm looking for the playlist so I could bring it up, but shit, is it not on here? Thought I saved it to my library.
DMD
Fuck.
new 09-27 or forward slash 27.
Shit, maybe I don't think I have it saved. I'm gonna have to
Just
let
say
you take the reins on the rest of this one because that honestly, that's the only album that I listened to on this playlist. Sorry.
I'll
But
send it
it
to you in
was
the meantime.
okay. It
But yeah,
was
go
but
ahead.
yeah. So the Black Dahlia murder, Servitude, a lot of hype going into this one. Not just myself, but the entire metal community, I think. Looks like it's well received, and I think I'm kind of with everyone else, man. I think this is a great release for the Black Dahlia murder. A great comeback moment for him. I really dug it. I'd say front to back. I listened to the whole thing a couple times. Really enjoyed it. Um, Songs that stick out in particular are sorry, I'm just loading it real quick just so I can get the titles. Uh, but I think it's off to a strong start. Evening Ephemeral. I love the title tracks too. I don't know if we're kind of if he had access to like Trevor's writings or anything like that, if that's where some of these titles come in or not, or if this is just all him. But props to him if so. The only reason I say that is because that kind of like double wordage, like evening ephemeral, it kind of reminds me of like Trevor's writings vibes. You know what I mean?
Hmm. The
I don't
alliteration.
know. Yeah, it seems similar. So I thought that was really cool to kind of see. But yeah, off to a great start with that one. Panic Hysteric is good. Aftermath. I've grown to like that one a lot more. I think it's a great single now. I was kind of dogging on it a while back, but really happy with that one, man. Asserting Dominion's good. Mammoth's Hand, obviously. I think it's a great album, dude. What'd you think of it?
Um, I feel like this one's going to take some time for me. Black Dahlia. So you'll see this when we talk about Whitechapel. 'Cause for me, Whitechapel and Black Dahlia have the same issue to where there's whenever they come out with a new album, for some reason it's not doesn't click. It takes a while for it to click with me, and for some reason this is doing the same with me right now. There's some parts I like, but for me, I'm having a hard time like picking out songs and moments. I do love the intro, evening ephemeral, with that cool acoustic intro, and I like how they at the end they do the same acoustic outro at the end of what
Yeah.
was it, Utopia Black. For me,
Yes.
the best song that stuck out the most is the single that they released, Mammoth Hand. I thought that was the one that kind of hooked me back and was like, all right, yeah, this is Black Dahlia Murder. But for everything else, it's going to take some time for me to actually give an honest opinion. Right now, I'm still lukewarm on it. I love Black Dahlia
Okay.
Murder, and I love obviously like everything's still there. It's just vocals are
Mhm.
slightly different. It's just one of those things. It might take me a little bit of time to get fully on board. And I don't hate it. It's just I don't feel like it's clicking with me.
Fair
So
enough.
for me, it's just going to
I
take a little bit.
I feel like we got more I think the guitars are just as good, but I do think that I apologize. I don't know. I can't remember the guy's name who fronts it now, but he used to be the guitar player. I felt like old Black Dahlia is definitely more chuggy, more
Hmm.
kind of riffage, whereas now we're getting more solo-y and kind
Hmm.
of lead guitar.
Yeah.
Black Dahlia. I think it still sounds like Black Dahlia. They do a great job of still sounding like the same band. It just seems a lot more solo-y. But I think it's great. I think the solos are awesome.
Hmm.
Um, and the guitar work, man, is still very signature, as it always was with Black Dahlia. So, but
Yeah.
but yeah, man.
And I do think that might have to be with, like you said, with Brian switching to vocals. They now have two guitarists who were both at one point their lead guitarists. So now they have pretty much two lead guitarists doing all the cool riffs, the cool solos, where Brian's not there as much doing the chuggy parts, like with Ryan Knight
Yeah.
being there, Brandon Ellis. But that's why listening to this and you bring that up, it makes me wonder: is like, so who was who is he? Is Brian still involved in the writing process of the instruments? I don't. It's under. I don't know what the
Yeah.
dynamic was with Trevor, who was in the band, and now that Brian's listening, or I don't know how the dynamics work when it comes to writing.
Yeah, I know. It's always interesting. That's where like our interviewees would be a great addition to this podcast,
Hmm.
I think.
Yeah,
But
getting some more insight.
yeah. But
Yeah.
anyways, I'm gonna have to let you take the lead on the rest of this playlist because I didn't make it there. I was kind of consumed with Kubla Khan and Black Dahlia. So
I gotcha. So there's two other albums on this playlist that I really liked. They're big surprises for me. So first one would be Hiriot. Um, now I gotta look up the name of this album. So I just added it because it was like a suggestion. Then I saw someone say uh, something about, hey, I know there's a lot of hate towards this one band. If you don't like this band, check out this band. They're a better version of us, this band. This is UK metalcore band called Hiriot, which I already had them on the playlist. Like, okay, it made me excited. The name of this album is called Devoured by the Mouth of Hell, and this was a fun album. I don't let the
ooh,
name metalcore throw you off. This is a very dirty. It makes me think of uh, back when the new metal was kind of coming back into deathcore and metalcore. It makes me think of that, but more well done. The new metal is not an obnoxious level; it's more of a subtle level to make it more palatable and make the music more interesting. It's very the female vocalist is gnarly in her vocals. I love it, and they do a cool thing
oh
to
yeah,
where every few songs they'll have like a soft one where it's just singing, not a lot going on. It's like, all right, that's weird. Just go. Then next song just goes back to the chaos, and we'll go back and forth on that until it builds up until the second last song, to where Visage. Um, it starts off with that, then it just kind of you realize all these clean songs have been building up to this big moment, to where just it all crescendos into this great, awesome moment. This was a very fun album, very surprising, very good. If you want some interesting metalcore with a little bit of new metal, I recommend Hiriot's. Um, what was it again?
no.
Sun in the Mouth of Hell. Condemned to the Mouth of
Uh,
Hell?
hang on, Blaze from the Mouth of Hell, or no, sorry, Devoured by the Mouth of Hell.
Yes, great album. I recommend it. Um, the other album was recommended through not to us personally, but I've seen a lot of metal sites that I respect talking about this band and their new album, and that is the new album by the German band Kanonenfieber, which I think translates to cannon fodder.
Oh, okay.
Um, So I was originally I put this on here, then I did some research and I was turned off because this concept of this band is the same as another band that I also love. So I thought, why would I listen to the same thing again? And that is the point of this band is just like the band 1914, where it's factual accounts of World War One, but
Mm,
told as like they're an anti-war band talking about World War One and only talking about like actual factual events that happened. Like, all right, well, why would I want to listen to that? I got 1914. But this was a great album. It's even though it's purely in German, it got me pumped. Especially the first actual song, because the first song is just an intro. The actual first song, which is second track, Menschy Mule, which I guess translates to People Mill.
huh.
Um, and it
Sweet.
kind of ties into the cover of like a looks like a World War I German soldier grinding his people into a meat grinder, and the
Oh,
chorus is
hell
just
yeah.
Deutschland, Deutschland, just gets you pumped. This was actually a very fun album. It's very similar to 1914, where they combine the elements of death, black metal, and doom. This does the same thing, just less doom, but more punchy, more in your face. This was a
Hell
fun
yeah.
album. I recommend this band Cannon and Fever, however you want to pronounce it. And the name of the album was, I'm gonna have to look this up. It's a weird German name, and I don't speak German. Sorry, everyone, but it is. Oh,
Die
got
Katastrophe.
yes, that was it. Yeah, I had to look up a lot of these song titles, what they mean. Some of them are pretty self-explanatory. Stormtrooper. Okay. Then there's other ones like, okay, I have no idea. Der Malwerf. But I,
Dear malware. The
yeah,
malware. No.
but this is a fun band. I recommend you check them out.
All
But
right.
that's,
Yeah, that definitely looks appealing. I'm gonna have to delve into that one because that cover does it alone, man. I dig that. It's kind of like throwback, vintage looking,
hmm
with the whole biker skull guy
yeah,
grinding up all the people. I dig. That's
yeah.
tight.
It's fun, and like I said, it's combining both black metal and death metal, and it's a very fun and but punchy and political overtones. That's hard to tell. Like you obviously have to look them up, but even just the chorus, I don't speak German, but you can just tell like, oh, okay, like him just chanting Deutschland, Deutschland, and whatever is like, okay, it's one of those like, hey, you need to like rising up, getting people more patriotic just so they'll die for their country for whatever cause the war is going on at World War I. So like, ah, yeah, this is fun. This is exciting. Gets you
Oh yeah,
going.
that's
That was
awesome.
it for the albums I loved from this playlist. We had some others. Ascend the Helix I put on there. I thought I put this on more for you because this is one of those like genty bands. I didn't mind this one too much. I thought this
Ooh,
would be more up your alley. This is like a
okay.
genty band. It's hard. I want to say Periphery, but I mean, I feel like I could just say that for any jet band because there's a lot more
Yeah.
going on than just Periphery. But it's
Okay.
I found this a little bit more interesting because I feel like the genre has kind of died off after that initial boom. So I'm a
Yeah.
little bit more open to newer bands doing it. This one wasn't too bad. Just something that always throws me off is when you start off an album with a 9 minute long song is always going to throw me off. So,
Yeah.
but I
The
mean,
cover,
it's not too
dude, I
bad.
gotta say, is fucking stellar.
Yeah,
I absolutely love it. And yeah, man, definitely looks appealing.
yeah. I think
But
this would be up your alley.
I'm
Did you
playing
check
it
it
right
out?
now. No, I didn't. I did not make it to this, unfortunately, but I'm just kind of skimming over it right now. But it sounds like it kicks into gent with cleans
Yeah, it'll
right
go
off the
back. I would
get-goes.
say it's about 50-50 when it comes to cleans and streams.
Okay,
I would
fair
say it's
enough.
somewhere
Hell yeah.
between like 12 Foot Ninja minus the quirkiness and
Mm,
Periphery.
fair enough. Did you know that band's dissolved? Kind of sad,
Did
but
they?
12 Foot Ninjas no more, man.
You know why? I bet it's because they still think back to that night in St. Louis
When I
when
fucking
during
laughed
the
at him.
break of a song, someone just started laughing at them.
Yeah. Yeah, big disclaimer. Me and Jeff attended that show though goes down to one of my favorite shows of all time. I think it was an epic night me and Jeff had. The lineup was Born of Osiris, Periphery, 12 Foot Ninja, and do you remember the other opener? I can't.
Dead Letter Circus and
Oh yeah.
Virus Side, which I want to say was like a local band.
Okay. But yeah, the first two were very mad, but 12 Foot Ninja comes on, man, and these dudes come out on stage in fucking like gi ninja garb, and they just break out into this like excellent, like fucking chef's kiss gent. And I was so thrilled and ecstatic about the sounds that I was hearing that I was like dumbfounded. Like they totally sidewinded me And so I just like my reaction was to laugh, but it was like out of pure joy and happiness. Like it was just a moment that I've never experienced. And like I didn't know why I was laughing, but I think it was because I was so surprised. Like, oh, holy shit, man. Like it was that sort of thing, that sort of reaction. But I don't think that it was perceived that way. I and so after their song ends, I'm still laughing like that and like literally had eyes looking back at me and you could hear my laugh resonate in the room. And so, yes, to this day, I have always felt bad for that one. But if anyone out there is listening that's in 12 Foot Ninja or knows any of them, it was absolutely not personal by any means. It was out of pure joy, man. I love that set. I fell in love with that band that night and their sound.
Hmm.
They were reggae gent, and it's just like, come on, how what other band is doing reggae gent? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But these dudes did it, and they were Australian lads. Uh, just a weird bunch, but such a fun ass set, man. Fuck
Hmm.
that show was so damn awesome.
Oh yeah.
I love that show.
Yeah, I feel like that was the perfect culmination of all those bands were in their like peak, in my opinion, for
Oh,
their careers.
dude,
Periphery 2, uh,
absolutely.
Born Versailles that just came out with Tomorrow We Die
Y-
Alive. 12 Foot Ninja
Yeah.
came out with whatever album that was. What was it? Something Star, I want to say.
Shirokin or
Yeah,
no, or I don't know. Yeah, or Vanguard or some shit like that, maybe.
I
I
think
don't
maybe
know.
Shuriken, because I want to say that's
Sure.
like a
Yeah.
Ninja Star.
Yeah, it was the one with their they had it was a full album and I think they had just had EPs before that, but they are a weird band. Like they kind of have this they're not like a common metal gent. They're not like a heavy metal gent. They're more like a new metal gent, but it's still, I think, very tasteful. I don't know. I You had to be there, man, because the
Hmm.
set sold the band to me. Had I watched that, I think I had watched their videos before we went to the show. I was like, what the fuck? Like this is weird. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. But the set definitely sold the band for me. And so, it was one of the many reasons why, you should go to a show because that definitely happens. But anyways, yes. I laughed at 12 Foot Ninja and broke up the band. Sorry, guys. But no, that band is dissolved. The lead singer, the vocalist, he quit, I think, and I think that's it. Pretty much fizzled out from there because it's like, come on, you're not gonna be able to replace that guy. His vocals were so signature, and his
Hmm.
sound was so unique. Like he sang, amazing singer too, but he also did the screams and shit. I'd say he sang more than he screamed even,
Yeah,
but he was
yeah.
really talented.
I think especially with their sound, it's one of those things you need. I feel like there's two members to where for their sound to be pulled off, you need these two members to have that kind of talent. And that was the singer and the bassist. I feel like those two
Hmm.
had to be the talent they were. To where if they leave, I mean, good luck finding a replacement, especially in Australia where I feel like there's a lot less of a pool to choose from.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Last album on the playlist was Oceans. I listened to a little bit. I was not feeling it. It felt like modern metalcore, but with a very annoying attitude about it. Like click, they have a song "Click Like Share," almost like a rapping vibe, but he's screaming.
Oh,
Imagine like Gift Giver, but not as like offensive, but like trying to
okay.
seem like uh, I don't know. It was an annoying vibe for me, so I was just like, no, I'm done with this. So that's when I moved
Okay.
on to the next one. So I didn't give this one too much attention. But there's a new album from the band Oceans, not to be confused with the progressive metal band The Ocean Collective. This is like a
Oh,
modern metalcore band. If that interests you, um, we do have some singles from this week, which I'm a fan of. Did you
oh,
listen to any of the
okay.
singles?
I did. I listened to one that I really liked. Disentomb, No God, Unconquered, featuring Johnny Davy, the one and only, from Jawbreaker.
Fuck yes. Fuck yes. Uh,
Absolutely.
this has me excited. This
Banger
single,
track. Damn, they sounded fucking great together, man.
oh yeah,
Sidewinder feature, by the way. Did not expect this dude to hop on a slam band track
yeah.
anytime. Like I figured he would do like a more modern death metal band than but okay, whatever. That's tight.
And so I really love this that they got Johnny Davy for this song. But when they announced it, apparently this was announced the same time that they're announcing they're coming out with an EP next week. And it's just 4 songs. And what the whole point of this EP is to do is to this and that other single they dropped back a couple years ago, Broken Underneath the Symbol of Your
Oh,
Atonement. Those
oh,
are supposed
okay.
to represent the help bridge the gap between their previous album and their new album because they're doing a lot of experimentation, supposedly.
Okay.
So this is supposed to bridge the gap so it's not straight out of like left field once this new album comes out. And I can kind of see that because I can't tell if it's Johnny Davy doing all these vocals, but it sounds like
Hmm.
if it's not, it sounds like Disentomb is doing some weird vocal experimentation, like because he's known for just doing lows all the time. What kind? Like I love Disentomb, but it's almost a little bit one notish. But it
Yeah.
sounds like he's kind of going from lows to some mids, kind of lower mids, but he's kind of expanding his zone a little bit. But I love this song. Um, I am hesitant though of I want to pre-order the EP, but I'm having a hard time justifying paying $20 for a 4 song EP.
Yeah. I'm definitely with you there. Now that I think of this, like I think I made this comparison. I think I've made it before in the podcast, maybe not, but duh. Like the last Disentomb album totally sounds like the tunage, the modern tunage of Job for a Cowboy. Very
Mm-hmm.
proggy, kind of that slow roll death metal thing. They're kind of both doing the same things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I will say I kind of wish I don't know, it kind of makes me miss the fast-paced Job for a Cowboy though.
Yeah.
Like I almost kind of miss the demonocracy phase. Like I kind of want him to pick it up a little bit again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know this isn't a Job for a Cowboy song. It's a Disentomb song. So like I'm not I obviously I went into this, expecting Disentomb over Job for a Cowboy, but um the feature makes good sense. But that's just my little side note there. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah. This feature makes me hope that Disentomb and Job for a Cowboy do a tour together, preferably American
yes.
tour.
Hell yeah. And I think that's probably what we're leading to. I'm guessing maybe. I don't
Hopefully, because
know.
has he does
Um,
he do a lot of features? I don't really notice it.
no, I feel like he doesn't, man. And so that's kind of like it's great because hey, at least he's doing something. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like we've talked, on the last episode or two ago. They kind of just dropped this album and went back into hiding. So
Mm-hmm.
it's great. It's great to have something new already out there, but definitely gets me pumped. That being said, Disentomb, I always get them mixed up with another D slam band that starts with the letter D. Defeated Sanity. Dude, we've missed 2 singles to throw them in the playlist
Really,
rotation now.
I want to
Yes.
say we had one.
Oh,
I can't
no,
remember
yeah,
which
you're
one.
right. Okay. We did. The Odor of Sanctity. We did throw that one in there. But I always get Defeated Sanity mixed up with Disentomb just for the simple D factor. But they came out with another one, Temporal Disintegration.
Okay, I need to put that on next week's playlist then.
So I think that that's dropped recently. Yeah, we can throw that on the next rotation. Anyway, sorry, I kind of derailed there for a second, but
I
anyways,
might as well just start creating like tonight or tomorrow, and then not push them to the Facebook group until Friday. That way, you have more time to actually add new songs if I am missing like the disembodied tyrant one, stuff like that, or the um,
yeah,
defeated sanity one. But no,
yeah, for sure.
I'm excited for New Distant Tomb, and I'm hoping, based off how they were talking, like with the initial post, hopefully this also means a new Distant Tomb next year.
Ooh, yeah, that would be tight.
And with how they've been going, I am loving their direction. I It took me a bit to get into their previous album, but the more I listen to it, the more I love it. And
Hmm.
I'm loving these new tracks as they're coming out. So, and I'm hoping this means they get to come back to America. They've only been, I think, twice, and I missed them both times. I would love
Oh
to come
wow.
see Distant Tomb.
Yeah, that would be badass.
Um,
I didn't catch any of the other new singles. Did you?
um, Better Lovers came out with At All Times. I don't remember too much about it. Um, I don't know. I feel like I should like Better Lovers more, but for some reason, I'm still going back to Many Eyes more than
Mm,
Better Lovers, which is weird because I love Every Time I Die for the riffage and all this stuff, and Keith's vocals and lyrics were added on top of it. And I love Greg Puciato from Dillinger Escape Plan. For some reason, this isn't clicking. Maybe once it's all together in one album, then I can have the flow of everything. But right now, I'm not really digging their singles that are coming out. I don't know. We'll see when the album comes out. Highly Irresponsible by Better Lovers is coming out soon, so we'll see once that comes out. Other than
fair
that, we
enough.
also have Cabal featuring 1056. Um, I know Cabal's not like pushing the needle when it comes to music, and I'm kind of tired of deathcore at this point. However, something about Cabal I just still enjoy them.
Brings
This
you
song is
back.
fun. Yeah, this song is fun. This band is fun. I don't know if it's the vibe of this band. I love the whole like a pagan, evil pagan secret society thing.
Mm,
I love that theme of it, and that's what makes it fun. And Still Cursed, featuring 1056. I think it's good. It's obviously, like I said, not moving the needle at all. There's something about it. Just I enjoy it. Did you listen to this one?
I did not, man. I'm gonna have to hop on the late train on this one as well. I got a lot to
I got you.
catching up to do. So
I got you. So hopefully, now that we're back and we don't have double playlists to cover, we can actually uh, go through more of them.
yeah.
Lastly, we have the new single. I think this is probably the last single until the new album comes out. I'm assuming because they've been coming out with a lot of singles. "Funny Man" by Chat Pile. Um, I do like Chat Pile. I feel like the previous couple singles they've released from this new album has been very different. They had the one that sounded like nothing. They had the one that had it pretty much just a repetitive "I am dog now. I am dog now." Like just weird. This one sounds the most like typical Chat Pile in my opinion. It goes back to God Country, their previous album. This says that vibe to a T. So I enjoy it. I kind of enjoy Chat Pile. Their weird quirkiness, it makes it fun, and I feel like this kind of brings me back to I've found them through God's Country. So this is I understand they're just their last album, but it brings me back to that. I was like, all right, this is why I like the band. This is fun. So yeah,
Oh
check
yeah.
out the new song "Funny Man" by Chat Pile. Yeah, that's I think that's all the new music. There's a lot of it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anything
We
else you
crammed
want to
her
add
in there
on?
good.
What's that?
We crammed it in there good.
Yeah. We do have some metal news I was wanting to bring up, though. You probably saw some of it. One of them was Veil of Maya has all of a sudden announced out of the blue indefinite hiatus.
Yes. Interesting. Dropped off tours and everything, which they're
Yes.
about to embark on a really big one with Signs of the Swarm. So
Yeah.
that's kind of
And
a
they
really huge
just
blow.
came off of Summer Slaughter, which they headlined.
Yeah.
So I don't know what
Damn.
that's about.
I don't know, man. Probably fondled some underage girls or some shit. Who knows?
That's what I thought. I thought, like, all right, there's going to be some allegations coming out soon. They're trying to get ahead of it, but I haven't heard anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know. Did the band release a statement on that or what?
I
Let
think
me
they
give it a quick
just said that
quick goog.
they're just going on an indefinite hiatus. I don't know if there's like internal stuff going on. I'm hoping maybe they bring Brandon Butler back. But that's just my opinion. I don't mind the clean singing back. I preferred the whole. I missed it back when they were a normal, just deathcore band and not just going on all these weird tours with like Dance Gavin Dance and bands like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, so they did do it weird. They said that it is an indefinite hiatus, but then said we will be back. So like wait, that's not an indefinite hiatus. An indefinite hiatus means we're done, right?
But it's like we don't know if we're coming back. That's what I get from
Okay.
indefinite hiatus. It's like a break, and we
Okay.
don't know if the break is permanent or not.
Okay. So
Because
they're
I want to
kind of
say
toying
Poison the
with
Well.
emotions.
Because I want to say Poison the Well did the same thing. They said we're on indefinite hiatus, and they came back like 15 years later. Fear Before the March of Flames, still waiting for them to come back because they're on hiatus. So it's I
Hmm.
don't know. We'll see. But it is weird that they say we'll be back after immediately announcing indefinite hiatus.
Yeah. It's like, come on, you attention whore. Like, what do you want? Oh
uh,
God, no, please come back. It's like,
uh, Other news, which I mean, I don't think Vale Mayo's news was that sad. This is a little bit more serious and sad. I don't know if you saw Brugeria. If anyone isn't
mm,
familiar with Brugeria, they're the Mexican cartel themed grindcore band based out of I think LA or just Southern California and then parts of Tijuana, Mexico. They have
yeah.
multiple singers, and two of them died in the I want to say like a 2 week period. Um,
Oh shit. I didn't know
yes,
two of them did.
yes,
Damn.
two of their singers. One, I think, one of them was an original member, and the other was, I guess, technically original member for his position. He was like there was no other person before him, but he wasn't with the original inception. One was an actual like he was the uh like guy who helped start the band. I gotta look it up their names now. It was so Pincha Peach was the first guy who died, and I want to say he's our age. He looks older, but he's like our age.
Wow.
Um, and then it was
Damn.
what was his name?
Rest in peace, man.
Yeah,
That
Juan
sucks.
Brujo. Juan Brujo, the yeah, I think he's no, he's not the only original member. Phantasmo is also an original member, but yeah, he is the original lead singer, and he passed away.
Damn.
So
That's tough, man.
yeah,
I know of the band, never really listened to them, but I know they have big relations to cattle decapitation, so
mhm. And
that
Napalm
sucks.
Death because Shane Embry's their bassist from Napalm
Oh,
Death.
okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they and they're
Interesting.
also I want to say they were on mid tour because they were supposed to
Oh,
come to
wow.
Arkansas soon with Guar. I don't
Damn.
know if they still are or not, but doubtful since
That's
they literally
wild.
had two members die. Both of them
Yeah.
are singers. They also have the girl from Orange is the New Black in their band as a singer as well. Um,
Really?
yeah, the girl who's married to,
Oh, the metal chick.
mhm,
Okay, I know who you're talking about. Interesting.
yeah, married to Thomas Hake from Meshuggah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a wild mix.
Hmm.
Other metal news. Sorry not to move on immediately,
Oh,
but
you're good. I don't
yeah,
have anything more to
our
add to it.
our condolences. But Eric Rutan had to leave mid-tour
Yeah,
because the floods took out his home apparently. So that sucks, man.
yeah, I did hear about that, and that also makes me worried because from what I'm hearing, there are some people in some states, essentially, because I want to say he's from Florida, isn't he?
Yes, yeah, they're a Florida-based band, so I'm pretty sure that's where he's at.
So it also makes me worried that like, so there's both the personal side, but also as a fan side. So personal side, like he, from what I'm hearing, there's people who can't even get out of their houses right now because the streets are just gone. Like it's just flooded. Their
Yeah,
houses, they're stuck in their
it's
houses,
fuck.
no electricity, no food. And he went back to his family. So it's one of
Mm-hmm.
those things like, well, what can he do once he gets there
Yeah,
if he can get to him?
right. Yeah, well, I heard his home's gone. Like, pretty sure it's like catastrophic fucking damage. Like
Hmm.
it's, but I mean, I get it. Like from my perspective, I'd have to like be there just to see if I could collect my shit, I guess. You know what I
Or
mean? So
even with the families, like even if there's nothing you can do, you at least want to be there. Like you can't just be like,
yeah.
yeah, my family's dead. All right, well I can't do anything. Let me just continue to
Well,
steward. No,
they
you're
got
gonna want to go back.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but also,
Yeah, for sure.
so that's the personal side. Fan side, I'm gonna look at it from fan side. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but it's also just purely from fan side. Moving forward, it makes me worried he's not going to want to tour anymore because it's one of those things like I was gone when this happened to my family. Why would I want to be away from my family willingly all the time again, kind of thing. So it
Yeah.
worries me in that fact too.
I mean, I could see that, but I don't know. I don't know that that would make such a drastic change of his mind. I mean, who knows? I don't know Eric Rutan, but personally, I think that in that, I would probably just maybe consider a relocation to higher lands or something.
I don't
I mean, I don't.
know.
I'm sorry. That's just the asshole coming out in me. But that's hurricanes are a prime example of why I would not fucking want to live on a coast, man.
Yeah.
They are uh, catastrophic, and this is a prime example. They come every year. Like they
Hmm.
fucking happen every year, man. And so it's just living in those regions, dude. I hate to say it, but you are gambling with nature.
Hmm.
But it's no different for us. We're gambling with tornadoes. It's like
Yeah.
I'm not, I can't indefinitely pick a spot that's going to be out of a tornado zone in the Midwest. They just fucking land where they want, man.
Yeah. Well, also, I think with Eric Rutan, I feel like he's set up differently to where I feel like he could take, because yes, he's a career musician. However, he's also set up in, I think, in a way to where he can, well, he's also a producer. I can make money from this and I don't have to leave home. I don't have to worry about if my family is stranded, I can at least be here kind of thing. So I think I can see
Yeah.
that being a potential. And also, I can see the potential of uh, doing the same situation that Will Putney does for Fit for an Autopsy or DL did for Acacia Strange, where I'll record your I'll record your album, I'll play my parts on the album, but I will not tour kind of thing. I can see that happening too.
Yeah, true. But I do gotta say, I think that Cannibal Corpse is the biggest kind of
Hmm.
moment for Eric Rutan. I mean, I think he was already big, like it's especially amongst metal, but like to have the opportunity to get into Cannibal Corpse and like tour with it, like it is like it's huge. And so
Hmm.
it's kind of the biggest step that I think, he's made, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just a
true.
knucklehead, so
Yeah, true. True. Um, yeah. Do you have any other metal news?
I don't think so, man. I think that kind of highlights it.
All right. So up next we have our other news segment talking about the band requests. So we picked out three. Um, First up, the band I want to talk about, they've submitted a request. That is the band Munitions with their EP, uh, Remote Death.
Yeah, no, you're yeah, I did. I kind of glanced over it. I thought it sounded aggressive. I dug it. What do you think of it?
So what I listen, this is one of the ones I listen to a lot. So if you're listening to this Munitions, hopefully you are, because that's why we're doing this for to kind of give a little bit of critique. I've really liked the first song, and This Is How You Die, and the last song, Chained Up. Those two, for me, have the vibe. It reminds me a lot of Alter Beast, and that's something that a band I miss. And I'm glad you guys are helping
Yeah.
fill that void. Um, I've listened to "And This Is How You Die" right before starting this podcast today. Uh, I know you guys are a small band, but you guys need to somehow pay your rhythm section even more because they are doing fantastic. Your drummer is fantastic. I love that. Your singer, like I said, it reminded me a lot of Alter Beast. So those are I would say good job on Remote Death. The only thing that I'm having a little hard time with is the two middle songs. It feels like a different vibe. But I mean, it's your band. You do how you want to do it. It's just the first and the last song were Alter Beast vibes. I dug it.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Munitions. Is that or is that the band name or album name? Or yeah, sorry.
Band
Munitions,
name is
Remote Death.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I did have one I wanted to highlight on here. The band Foreverless and this track Beyond the Emptiness. I dig, man. There's obviously great skill in these tunes, but I can't get past the name, man. I feel like if you're listening to this foreverless, change your fucking name, please. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, come on. I don't know. Maybe consider it. Maybe don't. You know, I can always just go fuck myself. But yeah. Aside from that, that was kind of my only nitpick. Guys definitely have a lot going on. I thought the tunes were really solid. Yeah.
I gotcha. I don't know if I listened to that one, so I can't give too much opinion on that one.
The music's
Uh,
definitely stellar. They got, I think that's the one that we were talking about earlier. They had the wicked bass run, little
oh,
break.
okay. I got you. Okay, that is coming back
It's
together. Yeah.
got a great
Again,
sound. The recording, whatever they're doing recording wise, they're nailing it. Um, but yeah, that's all. You know, I don't want to sit here and break apart these bands, you know, works and make them quit. But I know, not that I would. But anyways, but yeah, it's that's the one that I did want to highlight. So
I gotcha. Another one I want to highlight is the band Sagan told us to check out their new single Revelations.
Shoes. Bring your dead body back.
I got a huge vibe listening to this before the podcast. I can tell that the lead singer, you are uh, doing a very good job of Randy Blythe style vocals. It's very on par. It's just the music. It's not Lamb of God. It's still syncing very well with the vocals, in my opinion. Very well produced. I don't know who your producer is, but he's doing a good job. I don't know if he's in a member of the band or if it's just someone you hired. Doing good. I enjoyed it. Well, please let me know if you guys have more stuff. Just like with munitions, please let us know if you have more stuff coming out. Um, Lastly, I was wanting to talk about Krishna's cult. This was an interesting one. Did you check out this one?
I kind of glanced over this. I don't know that I stayed with it very long, but
So this was one because I've been kind of going through some every now and then. This one gave me their YouTube instead of their Spotify, and then I found out they were on
okay.
Spotify and added it. Um, and I wanted to specifically talk about this one because they're doing some things I thought were super interesting. So this is a Canadian tech death band, and
Hmm.
I want to highlight the Canadian part because I can tell that they are Canadian because it seems like Canadians do tech death the best, a la Archspire, um, Beneath the Massacre, Gorguts. Like,
Surreption is
yeah,
Surreption Canadian?
I think so. Is Cryptopsy
Or
Canadian? I can't remember.
hang on, let me do a Goog. Let me get this. I don't want to get this wrong. I know Surreption is not U.S. I know that much. So let me check. That'd be hilarious if I'm wrong.
While you're looking that up, I'm going to see if
No,
Cryptopsy
yeah.
is.
Surreption is not Canadian. They are Sweden.
Oh,
But fuck, man. You know what? I wish I would have thrown them in our big Tech Death 4. Surruption is fucking like godly, dude. Like
I don't know if I've ever
fucking
actually listened to them.
they're dolphin ass tight. Surruption,
Yeah,
they are literally one of the tightest bands I've in tech death that I've ever heard.
sorry,
What'd
Christian
you say?
Skull, but this is going to be a little sidetrack. I don't know. Something about the name Surruption makes it. I get thrown off because I always think Sorensen from The Prison.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, obvious relation there, yeah. Cryptopsy is Canadian. You were right.
Oh,
Montreal
speak of that.
fucks.
Yeah, Montreal. It seems like they come or Quebec. Quebec in general comes out with the best tech death. I don't know if I didn't look too deep into it. But I can almost guarantee Christian's Cult might be from Quebec. If not, they're at least Canada. And
Hmm.
Canada seems to come out with some of the best tech death. And I think they come up with some interesting additions to it. So if you're listening, Christian's Cult, correct me if I'm wrong, but it almost sounds like you guys are playing in standard, which I think is a ballsy move. Is in this time and age with everyone just doing drop tuning. I think that it still works great, and I want to applaud you for still making it sound heavy while playing in standard. If you are, um, but either way, a lots of cool stuff that I like on it, and also it also reminds me a little bit of the kind of like a mid career of Mayhem with the very instead of having a very full sound, they have their guitars almost have that brittle sound that Mayhem has, especially with the arpeggiated chords. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's a very clanky sound, but well, not clanky, but brittle sound. Not instead of like making it sound huge, and I feel like that's still very ballsy when it comes to death metal because it feels like not taken away from bands that do it, but I feel like a lot of bands almost just drop as low as they can and almost hide behind drop tuning. So this band is just like, no, it's like I said, it sounds like they're in standard. It sounds like no, we're gonna just do standard and still make it sound heavy. So I want to give hats off to Krishna's Cult with their new album. Um, I want to say that the tracks that kind of got my attention were A Warrior's Fate and Tranquility. Good job, guys. Let us know when you're coming up with more stuff.
Oh yeah. I just gave it a goog and it's Hindu vibes, Hindu theme,
Yeah, yeah,
Hinduism.
kind of that Eastern vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, way to go, up and comers.
yeah.
I wanted to add a little some shouts outs. These are Sean's picks. This might be my little segment that I might start doing just because he blasts me with so much shit. I can't keep up. Thorn Lord. This is most of these are going to be Bandcamp recommendations because that's what that fucker uses. So, um, Thorn Lord, by Thorn Lord. So look it up. That's on Bandcamp. Exhaust by Piron. That's on Bandcamp.
Ooh,
Might be
I want to
Spotify too.
say, is that like a Pryhon?
Yes, that's Pyrrhon.
I want to say I've
Piron
been seeing
Band.
that a lot of places. Maybe I should put that in next week's.
Yes. Yeah, I should. Yeah. Well, and then this one too. This is also going around the metal. Not just Sean. I have seen this elsewhere also. Have yet to listen to it though, but like I said, Sean recommends it, so it's good. Ingurgitating Oblivion, Ontology of Naught, Nought. So those are Sean's picks for the last couple weeks, however long it's been.
I
Uh,
gotcha.
always like to show those out. So yeah, give those a listen. Check those out.
Yeah,
That's the playlist.
hell yeah. Yeah, like we were saying, if you have any bands you want us to recommend or want us to check out, or if you're in a band and want us to check out your music, just let us know at deathmetaldaddies@gmail.com, or you can just post
Mm,
on our Facebook page at Death Metal Daddies. Yeah. So, like I said, I want to keep the death metal or the dad part light since it's already running a little late and we still have a Whitechapel thing to go over. When it
sure.
comes to fatherhood stuff, um, what gives you the most anxiety when it comes to your kids?
Hmm. Damn, that's a great question. Um, Thinking about the future. especially right now, this day and age, 2024. What the fuck's going to come of this world in 20 years of the United States where we're at, man? Like it is. I became an old man so damn fast after having kids because you start thinking not just about yourself like you used to, but about the future. Where are these kids gonna end up? What are they gonna do when they're older? Um, what's the world doing? Maybe I should think about that since my kids are going to grow up in this world. So it's just, ugh, yeah, man. I'll rot my fucking brain by thinking about that shit. I definitely, hands down, say it's the future. Um, primarily. There's some other smaller shit, like dating. I got girls, so obviously once they're gonna start wanting to kiss boys and that sort of shit, I'm sure those days will come and give me anxiety, make me want to kill someone. But no. What say you? What gives you the most anxiety?
My son, my son in general. Um,
Oh, wow.
I don't know. I think it's just the future doesn't really bother me too much because I'm one of those people, and I've heard other people talk about anxieties about other things, and I'm one of those people is where if you can't control it, why worry about it, kind of thing. Like the future's gonna, in my opinion, the future's gonna happen regardless. I can't really change it. So the best thing I can do is just kind of set
It's
them up
true.
for whatever future it is. When it comes to anxiety, I usually just think of in the moment anxieties or near future. So like I said, with
Okay.
like taking the kids to like a sports game, that gives me so much anxiety, especially if we're in the higher levels. That's why I'm fine with if we take the kids spending more money to get to like those lower seats because it gives me so I have somewhat fear of heights still. The military
Mm-hmm.
kind of helped a little bit with like rappel and stuff, so there's some that still is better, but there's still some things with, like when it comes to like a football stadium. Like I'm
Do you
fine
think you
with
have a
doing
fear
it,
of heights in the nosebleeds?
not for myself, it's for my kids.
Yeah.
Because something about I remember the Broncos stadium. It almost felt like I had to be on all fours to climb those stairs, just with how steep it was in those nosebleeds. Because God, it
Yeah,
feels like you're on top of bodies on top of bodies. And bringing a
it
kid to that,
definitely seems steep.
yeah,
Yeah.
bringing a kid to that, especially Jensen, gives me so much anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
That's what scares me. Um, even when we went to a hike at the, I forget what it's called, but it was that trout farm I was telling you about.
Mm-hmm.
There's a hiking trail, and I let Jensen lead, and the entire time I'm just anxiety because we're going up this
Yeah.
hill. If he does his old like I'm gonna do whatever I want thing and just runs off the trail, he's gonna fall like 500 feet. Like,
Oh shit.
and it scares the living shit out of me.
Need to
But I
leash
mean,
him.
well, that's one of the things. Like, I want him to at least I I ease back because I don't want my
Yeah.
anxiety to make it worse for him because I feel like my anxiety has kind of infected Annie a little bit because she gets a little anxious about things. I'm trying not
Yeah.
to do it with Jensen as much, and he actually did just fine. So I think it was one of those things that was just in my head.
Right.
Obviously, I still have to keep somewhat of a leash on him because he's just going to do wild little boy stuff. But I
Sometimes
don't
you
know,
need to let him fall.
not 500 feet, but
Yes, that is
yeah,
true. But
yes, that.
really though, sometimes they're gonna fall if that they're not gonna crack their skull open. I mean, let them fall. Let them scratch their knee up. Let them scratch their hand up. Hey, maybe they won't run as fast next time. You know,
Yeah.
small shit. Obviously, yeah, not a 500-foot drop, but they got. That's the thing. It's like that was an aspect of parenting. It's like, okay, there's a natural instinct to prevent pain, but pain is also a teacher to a lesson.
Hmm.
So it's like, I mean, they're gonna get hurt someday. So, I mean, that is just fucking nature. It's part of being human. You're gonna stub your toe, you're gonna fucking bump your elbow, or you're gonna scratch your knee, whatever it might be. It's like it's going to happen. So you can only do so much. I mean,
Hmm.
and pain, it's a lesson. It's just like whenever Lux falls, starts screaming, crying, I am very much the hardened. dad. I turn into that dude from Parks and Rec, mustache. What's his name?
Ron Swanson.
Yes, I am very much. Now, what did you learn from that? Okay. You're fine. Get up. And sometimes I'm a little too quick to get to that point, I will say, because sometimes I'll immediately just resort to that whenever I haven't even assessed the situation. Prime example, Lux was jumping in the bathtub when she was 2 years old. And I had just drained the bathtub, just got done giving her a bath, and she was jumping, and I was like, "Don't jump. You don't jump in the bathtub." She's like, "Jumpy, jumping, jumpy." I turned around for 2 seconds, and I hear thud, and turn around, blood's gushing out of her mouth. I was like, "Oh." But I was worried, but the first words out of my mouth, "Well, what did I tell you?" It was one of those situations where I just should not have been fucking, hey, time to learn a lesson. You know, I definitely had the wrong reaction. Lex came in, she had the appropriate, nurturing, like she was and she she grabs Lex, and it was in one of those moments she like turns to me and it's just like she busted her tooth. I was like, well, I told her, and. So yeah, I probably and that's exactly what happened. She had a major tooth chip from that, and just the other day had that tooth pulled. She's now 4, but because it she had an abscess in it that developed just recently in like the last month, so it had to get pulled. But yeah. So, anyways, sorry, I kind of went off the rails on that, but yeah,
Very
man,
good.
you can only do so much with that sort of shit.
Yeah, and I'm kind of the same way when it comes to the kids, but I do think you kind of need, when it comes to you and your spouse, you need to, you can alternate between it, but I feel like you do need the good cop, bad cop. You need the one who's going to be, obviously, you need the one who's going to nurture them to like, hey, it's okay, it'll be okay.
Yeah,
At the same time, you need someone who's like, hey, you were told not to do this. Like, you need to understand, like, this is what happens when this happens. You need both
yes,
because
yeah,
you can't have just one. If you have just cold,
oh yeah,
like what we do as dads, just like, well, I told you not to do kind of thing. I do that all the time because my
right,
natural instinct is like, you wouldn't have done it if you would have just listened to me. I don't know why you don't listen, kind of thing. To where,
yeah,
but you also need at the same, but also you can't have just nurturing to where they think like, that's all right. My parents will take care of it, kind of thing. You need both. You need
yeah.
reality and comfort at the same time when it comes.
Absolutely, man. The yin and yang. I
Mm-hmm.
totally agree. It's definitely a balance. But yeah, that's uh that's parental anxiety for me.
Yeah.
Anyways, my mind can go to some dark places these days, man. Especially if I fucking keep up on the world news and shit, then I just start thinking like, okay, well, I guess I need to doomsday prep and expect World War III to happen any fucking day now. So
Have you been stocking up on things because the strike?
yeah, you know what? I did not really. I don't know that I'm as captivated by that one as everyone else is. Everyone's like, "Oh, stock up, stock up." Like, come on. Like those fucking workers can only go on strike for so long, and they don't get compensated for their lost time for being on strike. That going on strike is totally out of their choosing. So therefore, they are totally um opting to lose funds for being on strike. Like the company
Mm-hmm.
is not going to back pay strike time. Like that's just not a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So however long you want to be on strike is however long you're willing to have no money. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I get it. Those workers they're in a much needed position. Maybe they are underpaid. I'm not sure. I'm not really aware. I know that their position is important and they probably should be paid well and fairly, but I'm just not really hip to that situation. I just know how this shit works. Yeah, it can cause delays. I don't know. I've been told that if the strike lasts more than 4 days, most Americans will see the effects of this happening. But at the same time, it's like companies are gonna to this shit and probably fucking hike their prices just like they did in the pandemic. Fucking toilet paper is probably gonna be the first thing that's gone too, which is
Yeah.
ironically hilarious. It's like, of all things, you're worried about wiping your ass the most in a time of crisis. Like,
I
come
do
on, dude.
I do wonder how much of it is genuine, like if there's actual like reason to fear, because really it's still like half. It is half of imports because it's only the
Mm,
East Coast. West Coast doesn't have as strict as East Coast. So
okay.
technically, we can still have our imports. So I'm almost wondering, is it injected fear so we drive up the prices
Hmm.
of, or so these companies can make more profit? I also think of that. But when it
Yeah.
comes to the workers, I kind of get it because, from what I understand, their contract ran out. It's expired.
Mm,
So they've been negotiating with the union and the companies is not meeting their demands at all. So it's one of those things like, all right, if this is gets more attention and Americans do start feeling it, who's that going to put more pressure on? Is it going to put more pressure on the unions to cave in, or is it going to put more pressure on the companies to cave in?
yeah. Yeah. Well, that's exactly what it is. It's a stalemate or checkmate, whatever the fuck you
Mm-hmm.
want to call it. But yeah, it's a chess game. And so it's, whoever wants to move first, man. It's whoever wants to hold out the longest. Someone's
Mm-hmm.
gonna lose money either
Mm-hmm.
way. So we'll see. It should be interesting. But no, haven't really stocked up myself. Have you? You think you're gonna
I have
get out
not.
and
I
get
just
some
found out
shit?
about it today, but I mean, no, I just bought toilet paper. I'm not really too worried about it. I can wipe my ass.
Yeah. Oh, the toilet paper, man, it cracks me up. It really does. I mean, I don't know. I was worried in COVID. I was like, oh fuck, no toilet paper. But like, I didn't think about the comedic factor of it. I was worried that toilet paper was going to be out, and I was just, oh my God, I bought in. I was sold. You go to the fucking store, the toilet paper aisles are cleared. It's like, what the fuck is happening? This is weird. We can't wipe our ass. Like, but it's just crazy. I mean, you think of the caveman days, they had to do something. I mean, shit, there's got to be natural fibers out there you could use to wipe your ass with. I mean, come on. That's
I don't know.
definitely
Just imagine being.
not the one important thing you need to be fucking emptying the shelves of. You'd think
I
it'd
don't
be
know.
gallons of purified water first or something. I don't know.
Well, I think of it more as like I feel like the fear would have been like I'm stuck in a house with all these people, and I might have to potentially have to smell all their stinky asses that they can't wipe.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Pretty hilarious. But
Yeah. Are you ready to discuss some Whitechapel?
yeah, let's get into it.
Screen share.
So, Whitechapel's Discog rankings.
Here
Gotta
we
say, I'm really happy with
go.
this
What
band
you got?
coming back swinging.
Oh yeah,
Huh? Oh,
there
yeah,
you are.
coming out the gate swinging, man. A visceral wretch. This song is heavy. Definitely
Oh
digging
yeah.
it.
And supposedly, I guess they introduced another new song on this tour.
Oh, really?
hmm Hymn of something. I can't. I remember seeing it on the playlist thing.
Hmm, that's tight.
Yeah. Are you? We want to just break into this thing?
Let's fucking get into it. Smack Defilement, 2006. Boom.
Hell yeah.
This was a badass album, man. I remember this was groundbreaking in high school. If you didn't know about this album, you were not fucking cool. And it was for a good reason, man. This was the most brutal thing, breaking metal ears at the time. Um, it kind of like I want to say a gateway band for me into the misogynistic whole metal era that kind of
hmm
happened around that time,
hmm
very much so in their lyrics on this album. But brutal as shit, dude. I remember watching that video. I think it was for prosthetic fluid asphyxiation,
hmm
and it's just like a live video. It's not the live track, but it's, the live footage video with the track. And it was just the heaviest fucking thing that was being played amongst all the metalheads in high school. And it was just so badass, man. The heaviest thing at the time that I had heard. And so
Hmm.
yeah, I was definitely interested into this band immediately when that happened. Banger of an album, dude. Incredible album. My favorite songs, Somatic Defilement, Devirgination Studies. And it starts out great, and it's a great flow of an album. Prosthetic Fluid, Fairy Fay, Ear to Ear. Um, Kind of falls off a little bit in the second half, but not really. Still a great album front to back, man. What'd you think of
Hmm.
this one?
Yeah, I loved this album. So I think I've talked about this in a previous episode. So I found this band. I don't know if it was before this album or what it was, but I found it through that prosthetic. Well, I found it they were touring with a bunch of Christian bands. I think it was their very first tour ever. It was with like Once Nothing and Devil Wears Prada, I want to say,
Oh
and
wow.
it was all like Christian bands. So, and I saw Whitechapel, so I automatically said, "Oh, they're a Christian band, cool." And I looked up that prostatic fluid asphyxiation, not knowing what any of those words meant and not understanding
Hmm.
any of the lyrics, but thinking it was the most brutal thing I ever heard. Like, this is fucking awesome. I remember downloading the album back when I had just LimeWire, so I had to do each individual track.
Oh,
And I want to say
oh yeah.
even the music video was the demo version of the prosthetic fluid because you can tell
Yeah.
off the album and the demo version. There's a little bit of difference. He's a lot more lower and he enunciates more in the actual album. But that was the one that I put on the download disc. That was the one I was used to. Yeah, I love this album. It wasn't until I wanted to just like, oh, I want to scream. I need to print off these lyrics and try to scream these. And that's when I found out they weren't Christian when I tried to do the prosthetic prostatic fluid asphyxiation because I thought it was fortune faded. Uh, I thought the part where he says "fucked and left for dead" was fortune something, but there's something else. I thought it was until I started reading lyrics about like drinking like the fluids from a cadaver and all this shit. It's like, oh my god, this is not a Christian. Yeah, this is a
Very much not.
banger of an album. Starts off with the Jeffrey Dahmer intro and necrotizing, and that cool sound that we've been talking about. That vroom part.
Yeah.
Somatic defilement. I remember listening to that opening gurgle, thinking like, "Man, that sounds like a drain from a bathtub." Uh,
Yeah.
then devirgination studies with that awesome "Send the Slut Back to Hell." Prostatic fluid asphyxiation, Fairy Fay, Ear to Fucking Ear. This is a great album, and it got me into looking up the history of like Jack the Ripper, because I guess that's what
Uh-huh.
this is based off of. Same with the title, because all the murders happened in Whitechapel. I love this
Hmm.
album. I'm gonna give this and like you said, it does fall off in the second half, but I feel like the first half, I could
Makes
just
up
listen.
for it.
That could be an album in itself. So I'm gonna give this a 9.2.
Damn. Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. This was gonna be a 9 for me. So I think they started off absolutely excellent. So broke ground for sure. I do want to say it's interesting that we only have this 2006 somatic defilement listed on their discography, but they clearly came out and re-recorded this whole thing. Now, is
Mm-hmm.
this the re-recorded one that we get on Spotify now? Because it was a late day
Yes.
re-recording. So,
Yeah, this is the re-recording. You can tell by the album cover because, as
okay.
you can see, the in the tier maker, that's the original cover. Because I remember going to Hastings with my cousin and like, oh my
Hmm.
god, they actually have this album because obviously no one knew about Whitechapel in Maryville in Northwest Missouri. So
Yeah.
finding that at Hastings, like, oh my god, I gotta buy this. And then they came out with a couple years later I don't know if it was re-recorded or what it was, but the re-release with the new album cover that
Okay. Hell yeah. Somatic defilement. Excellent album. The follow-up was I thought I mean absolutely solid, man. This is I had a huge interest into Whitechapel with the Smack Defilement, and then so like my hype was huge for this exact style, and the groundbreaking song for me was uh, I didn't know anything was happening until I saw the video for This Is Exile, Come On Headbangers Ball. And I saw like the intro lines and like everything like and it just makes me miss Headbangers Ball for that reason for so so much. But I was like, oh fuck, new Whitechapel, dude. And then this Exile just breaks into it. It's like, oh my gosh, heavy as hell, like just as good, I think. Like I love this album, dude. This Is Exile, I think, is absolutely fantastic. Still in my LimeWire days for me, so I downloaded the Somatic Defilement and this one as well. Um, and this track list was all fucked up in the download, so like I had initially listened to this album like all sorts of whack, but the running of this album is great. Starts off Father of Lies, great song. This Is Exile, Possession, To All That Are Dead. X ultimately interact literally front to back. This album I think is a masterpiece in the Whitechapel discography. Um, so many bangers on this one, man. I love this album. I'm giving this one a 10.
I gotcha. So, like I was talking about with the Black Dahlia Murder album, with it's the same with Whitechapel. Ever since the Smack Defilement, whenever they came with a new album, I did not like the new album after it. As soon as it came out, it took a while for me to build into it. And that's the same thing that happened with me with This Is Exile. Kind of like the same thing you were talking about. I didn't know they were coming out with a new album until I turned on Headbangers Ball one day, and then the This Is
Oh wow.
Exile music video came on. I thought, oh shit, Whitechapel
Yeah.
is on Headbangers Ball? Cool. They're actually getting attention, and they're actually coming out with new music. But then it started playing. I was like, this isn't about killing hookers or anything like that. So that kind of like, I was always like, I don't care about this anymore. They're doing something different. I don't care. I didn't
Yeah,
really get,
they swiftly took a you know I do get what you're saying. They definitely had a well, it's in the lyrics. This world is ours is the breakdown. And so it's already kind of a little corny-ish, but
yeah,
in my opinion, at that age, like I didn't like know, I wasn't really paying attention to that factor, I guess. I wasn't really into the lyrical matter content. Um so yeah, they definitely got a pass from me on that, but yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I didn't really get into this album until I think they came up with a music video for Possession. It's like, okay, this is
Mm.
actually pretty good. This is okay because it had all the great lines. We are. Oh, hi, Annie. How's it going? Come here. What's wrong? What's wrong? Your legs hurt? Just a second.
All right. Welcome back.
But yeah, I didn't get into. So yeah, this music video for Possession came. I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. Great lyrics. Uh, we are the we are the
Walking
disease.
Scum.
What's
Or
that?
no, this is Exile, sorry.
We are the disease that spreads amongst this filthy race.
Yeah.
Like that line was like, okay, that's actually pretty good. Then I found the album I think at Walmart. It's like, all right, I'll buy it. See, I like that one song. I didn't care for this Exile. We'll see how the rest of the album is. And then Father of Lies came in and it's like, oh my god, this is like, yes, they're not talking about the same stuff, but this is the exact thing that I loved Whitechapel for was the cool riffs, the breakdowns, and the awesome vocals. This is an album I have come to absolutely love. I still don't mind. I still don't like the title track simply because of that whole. It was that. It was that. That was the introduction to for me to the album. So I still haven't gone back to it that much. But this is actually my favorite album by Whitechapel. I actually the other day, I was doing a ruck for an exercise, and I just played this album all the way through. It's like, God, this album straight to back, perfect. It has multiple songs that are like you would think this would be the pinnacle of the album because it has that intro track into it with Damon the Procreated and Death Becomes Him, and then you have Of Legions leading
Oh,
into Messiahbolical.
Diabolical. Yeah, that's
Uh
good.
and just the beginning. I remember listening to it while I was doing my ruck. It was just like the first couple lyrics of Messiah Balafel just gets it's perfect. It gets you going. Here now I need to look it up.
Yeah, dude, that is a badass
March,
song.
my minions. Uh, just a second. Now I need a chapel Messiah Balafel lyrics. Here we go. Ooh yeah. The time has come at last. For years you have followed the wake of his perilous rule. Serpent of deception, you will fall to your knees when this is all said and done. March, my minions, for I have freed you from your timeless chambers. I have been dying to see you die among the witnesses up to my last words. Ah,
Hell yeah,
yeah,
absolutely banger of a track, man.
yeah. This is a perfect album in the Whitechapel discography, so I'm also going to give this a 10 as well.
Hell yeah. I actually, quick note, I forgot that I was in a meet and greet line to meet these dudes, and they drew titties on the cover of this album on a poster that I gotten for This Is Exile, and like a frowny face. And I have it somewhere, man, in my collection of shit. So I'll have to dig that out sometime. But yeah, epic piece of memorabilia. So great album though. What's your score on it? Did you say?
I gave it a 10, so this is a
Hell yeah.
perfect 20.
Wow. Damn. It's a piece of gold right there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Up next, A New Era of Corruption comes out a couple years later, 2010. And I had so much hype going into this one. And for me, I don't know that a lot of metalheads agree with this one, but I really loved it. It was very much more gent, kind of more um, groovy than the death metal blasty kind of shit. But I was okay with that. I'm a sucker for a sick groove, and they really hit it on this album, man. Starts out banger, Devolver into Breeding Violence, with which is one of my favorite tracks of Whitechapel's Breeding. I think it's under what do they call that?
Underappreciated.
Um, yeah, underappreciated. Yes. Breeding Violence, I think that's a banger of a fucking song. Darkest Day of Man's another hit. It kind of falls off on the second half, but that's okay. I still thought this was a great album. Maybe not as good as This Is Exile. Um, so I'd probably give this one an 8.4, but I still think it was really good. What do you think about this one?
So, kind of continuing my trend. I did not like this when it first came out. The first is specifically because the first single, kind of like you said, it was a very change in direction. And the first single I
Mm-hmm.
remember was "The Darkest Day of Man," and it came out,
Yeah.
and it's very slow and groove oriented, which is not what I loved about Whitechapel. So when it came, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then I bought it when it came out because obviously, like, well, I got to at least see what they're doing. And it took me a while, but eventually, I'd say about a year later, it's like, oh, this is a fucking banger of an album. Devolver, amazing lyrics, but Breeding Violence, I still think of those lyrics all the time. The fuck this world up, and then the whole like, what's a man now, a beast now, an abomination, like
Yeah.
almost like rap style vocals, or at least like phrasing and delivery. Like I loved it. One thing I do love about this album, I want to say, I think this is right. Is this the first time they've ever had features? And they only have, I think, two features that I remember, and they're both great. They have
Yeah.
Chino Marino on "Reprogrammed to Hate," and then
Yeah.
Vince Bennett from Acacia Strain on "Murder Sermon." Another. That's probably
Hell
my
yeah.
favorite song off this album. It's perfect. Um, but I would say there are some. Yeah, it's great. But I would say there are some cheesy parts I'm not too big of a fan of. Like going back to "Reprogrammed to Hate," I'm not a big fan of The lyrics on that one, I feel like they're a little weird, and not a big fan of like why have a plan for humanity when you haven't done anything when you haven't done anything yourself. If I were you, I would. I forgot how it goes. And isn't that the same thing of the when you call father is dead and gone? I slit his throat, resurrected him, and did it again. I
Uh,
thought was just like, that's what are we doing here? What is
yeah.
this? But
I I didn't catch that, but I liked that this album title is actually a lyric he took from This Is Exile. There's
yes,
a track in This Is Ex or a song in This Is Exile. I can't remember what track it is, but
I
he
want to say
says the line,
possession.
a new era of corruption. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that definitely could be right. I don't know off the top of my head, but so I don't know. I was kind of fond of it just for that reason. But
Yeah, I do
yeah.
love that. I do notice that there is some like almost like call outs of previous albums, and they can almost do that every album. Like with This Is Exile, they have somatically incorrect. I feel like it's kind of a
Oh,
callback to Smack
yeah.
Defilement. This one has a new era of corruption, which you pointed out is a lyric, and then the next album does something similar, but we'll get to that. I would give this album probably an 8.5. I think this is the last, in my opinion, of the golden era of Whitechapel, where their albums were near perfect. Um,
Hmm.
After this, they kind of started changing their things. Also, one thing I don't like about this album is when they shifted from concept albums to just like here's just a bunch of songs kind of thing. I don't like that
Right.
part. I kind of prefer Whitechapel when it comes to their concept albums, which is why I think I'm so fond of somatic defilement. I mean, it's kind of a loose concept, which just killing hookers. I mean, it's concept, but it's a loose concept. This is Exile, pretty. I feel like a more focused concept when it comes to like a kind of like Genesis Job for a Cowboy, like an Antichrist rising politically kind of thing. This is just kind of random songs, but still, in my opinion, very good. I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Sweet. Hell yeah.
You gave it an 8, didn't you?
8.4.
Okay,
So we
so
got a 19
16.9.
or yeah. Don't come to me for math.
All right.
Yes. So 16 point whatever. 9. Up next we have Whitechapel with Whitechapel in 2012. Self-titled. So yeah, like you said, we kind of drift from the concept here and just kind of have a fucking collection of tracks. And so, yeah, with that, I mean, I kind of fell off. And it's not just with the concept in mind. I didn't know. I didn't know what was really going on with this album. There's not a lot to it. They kind of adopted their logo, you could say, with this. You don't get the traditional band word logo on this album cover. They donned the Tennessee saw with the 3 stars and kind of made that thing their own, which I guess, is cool. It's kind of an homage to where they're from. So right on. But yeah, you have some good songs on this one, but definitely kind of fall off here for me. But Make It Bleed, I thought was cool. Hate Creation, another cool one. I Dementia, I think the most prominent track on this album. Um, Other than that, man, I mean, I didn't really take away a lot from this one. Um, I'd probably give this one a 7. What
I
about
got
you?
you. I'm probably gonna give the exact same score. There are some things I like in this one, like I was talking about with the previous album. They do a call out in the very first couple lyrics. The opening lyrics to "Make It Bleed," which is the opening track, is "We've been somatically defiled, exiled, and now this new era of corruption has come to an end." Like I thought that was a great opener, but I feel like kind of like you said, and I want to say I even was in a Q&A with Whitechapel up to this album, and I asked them, "Hey, is this going to be a concept album? Because I think your concept albums are great." And they're like, "No." It's like, okay, so we're going to this random thing. So I feel like that it's a cool lyric. It's almost like, hey, that stuff's done. We're gonna do something new to it. And that's what I feel like this album is. Re-listening to this, there was a lot of songs I used to like, but now that I'm listening to them again, I almost feel like they're focusing more on like one-liner lyric parts that they repeat over and over again. Like on Culturist, there's the "What do you see when you're burning in hell?" Kind of a cool lyric, but they just kind of repeats it over and over again. Same with Section 8. I want to say that's the part where it has a cool breakdown, and the call out is "You're all worthless," and it just repeats that a little bit. Faces. I want to say the call out was "We will not live in one nation under hypocrisy," or something like that. Which I kind of like. I like it when bands are political without actually picking a side, just kind of like Metallica's "And Justice for All," being critical of politics, but not really actually picking a side or actually a side on issue. Just like, hey, politics sucks. We're not living up to the
Mhm.
ideals of what we're supposed to be, kind of thing. I kind of like that a little bit, so I don't mind that. But I do. All complaints aside, there are some good songs on here. "I Dementia" is still a great song, a good
Mm.
idea, and a good groove. Possibilities of an Impossible Existence, I remember listening to a lot. It's one of those weird songs for Whitechapel at this time, but I feel like they're really embracing that groove, and that's pretty much all the song is just a groove, and but it works, at least in my opinion. I'm gonna give this a 7.
Word. All right. Up next, we got, or I guess that brings that one to 14. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, we got Our Endless War in 2014. Um, a big fall off moment for Whitechapel for me. A couple reasons. I hate this cover. I think it's kind of cornball, and I hate the title. I think they're definitely kind of hitting the cliches that I just stray from with my metal, or did at the time, I don't know. Um, Opens up with a track called Rise. I can't tell you how it goes. Then Our Endless War. Don't even like the title, so I didn't pay too much attention to it. But The Saw's the Law, even though the title is as cornball as it sounds, damn, that's a badass song. Um, Phil is undoubtedly a very, very good metal vocalist, and this song is just a great example of how fucking badass he can really be. Timing wise, he can, like you said, he kind of has that rapper flow type shit, that he kind of breaks into, and this song is like the epitome of that. And he nails it live, man. I've seen so many live videos where he just like hits it to a T, and it's just like, damn, did he really just do that? That's crazy. But Let Me Burn, I want to say, is a good song on here too. But yeah, other than that, man, I don't know. I wasn't into the theme of this. I just didn't dig it a lot. But that track, "The Saw Is the Law," definitely gives this album a few more points. I think I'm gonna ride this one another 7. So, what about
I
you?
gotcha. So I was, again, carrying the motif. I did not like this album when it comes out. I still am not fully on board with this album. Um, I feel like this is kind of the shift, in my opinion. There was already a shift with the
Mhm.
previous album. I feel like the shift is even more with this one. I remember the Saws of Law came out, and I did not like it when it came out. Looking back and re-listening to it, I think my issue is like the music itself is good on the Saws of Law. The
Mhm.
riff is, the whole band is doing a great job. I just am lost when it comes to the lyrics and like what is this song about? Like I don't it comes back to that what you're saying with the cheese ball. I like what is the saw and how is it? I'm not understanding the saws of laws. Like where we come from. Like I'm assuming the saw is them as a band. We're a big deal. Okay, that's the vibe I get. Is like the band is the saw. I don't know. I don't know what the saws of law is supposed to mean, but I will say the actual instruments of the song, like the actual song itself, is a really good, really catchy groove. It's just the lyrics and what I'm getting from the song lyrically. I'm very cheesy for me. Ireland's War I kind of liked simply for one line. It's kind of going back to Faces where it's politics without actually picking a side. It's the line of "My country, 'tis of greed, sweet land of idiocracy," which I thought was all right. I kind of like that. Uh, Again, not picking a side, not really doing anything, but still being political. I like that kind of calling out us as a country is like we need to do better kind of thing. I like that. Other, the only other song that really stuck out to me is like really liking was "Let Me Burn." I feel like that's kind of more of the I wouldn't say all the way back to This Is Exile. I would say almost more of New Era of Corruption style Whitechapel, to where it's very groovy, but it's very
Yeah.
dark and borderline misogynist when he talks about like cutting a girl's head off and throwing it in a ditch kind of thing. Yeah, just kind of
Hmm.
like a throw. I'm assuming it has to do with like a serial killer who cannot control his urges. So it's like, just let me die. I'm gonna cause more damage, which I thought was a cool concept. Like that was the vibe I got from the music video and the lyrics. So I do like that song. Other than that, I'm not too into this album. Like I said, it's I feel like this is the shift where they were just going, we're done with all of our old stuff. We're just going to focus mostly on just doing groove thing, which I wasn't too into. So I'm going to give this one a 6. I think that would put
Fair
this at
enough.
a 13.
Yep. Hell yeah. Up next, uh, oh, okay, we have a live album, so we get to skip that one. Mark of the Blade 2016. Um, I they dropped a single for this, and I want to say I think it was the first one, and it was called The Elitist Ones. And I remember him coming out on the statement of this is for all the you metalhead elitist fucks, like fuck you sort of thing. I fell off. I did not give it the time of day. I don't even know that I can tell you about any of these songs, man. You know what? I think I did listen to that song. I think it had like the Whitechapel sound still. Um, but I was just really turned off with that theme. Um, I did not give it attention. And even in, the homework for this, I don't think I listened to this album. So, um, for those reasons, I'm going to give this one a 5.
I'm right there with you. I remember hearing it. So I mean, there's some other things I think going on in the band at the time. I want to say this is also around the time where so I want to say Phil Bozeman, the singer, had gotten married, and since he had trauma with his parents, he kind of attached more to her parents. And to get more acceptance, I heard that's when he sewed up his gauged
Oh,
ears, and also
yeah.
he stopped talking about like some of the offensive stuff he used to talk about because he didn't want to obviously upset his parents-in-law. And so that was already kind of going into the headspace, like, all right, I already didn't like Endless War. Let's see what this new thing's about. And like you said, Elias Ones comes out, and I hear that's what it's about. I was like, and all I could think was like, who fucking who? Like, what are you complaining about?
Right.
Like, you are a full
Exactly.
blown like I remember you guys were in the underground. Now you're like one of the biggest deathcore bands, and you're sitting here complaining about people not liking you. Like,
The
get the
people that
fuck
gave you
over it.
the Yeah, the people that gave you the light. It's just like, and now you're bitching about them. Like, come on, man.
And I also want to say this is I don't remember what song it was. I want to say it was Bring Me Home. There was talk of that this album was going to feature a song with clean vocals. And I remember
Hmm.
that right away was like, what the fuck is Whitechapel doing? And I remember
Yeah.
he was talking about, this was on the heels of the Lamb of God song. I forget what song it was, but when they introduced clean vocals in the song, it's like,
Oh,
yeah, do you remember what song that
damn.
was?
That was off of the Seven album, right?
Think so?
Overlord.
Yeah, it was Overlord.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That album it was right around the same time. I gotta say, Lamb of God and Randy Blythe, I think their path was way more successful and and done way better. I really liked Randy's Cleans, honestly.
Hmm.
As surprising as it was, as much of a left turn as it was, I really enjoyed that song. I
Hmm.
thought it was very tastefully done. Whereas Whitechapel, it's almost like this whiny bitch persona, like you said,
Hmm.
and he's just like, yeah, fuck you. I'm gonna
Yeah,
I'm a clean sing. Huh. It's like, okay, good luck, buddy. That
yeah,
you just set yourself up for failure, I think, but I don't know.
yeah. I remember him saying, "It's like, yeah, I heard Randy Blythe and Lamb of God do it. It's like, you know what? He had the balls to do it. We're gonna do it." And I remember thinking, like, Lamb of God's different. I mean, they're not sitting here
Yeah.
bitching about other metalheads not thinking they're metal enough. Like, they just
Right.
do what they want to do.
Right. Well, and
Also,
that's my whole perspective on cleans and metal. I know, and to this day, I think there's still a fence where on one side you have guys that listen to metal without cleans because they don't want cleans and metal. And on the other side, it's, you got cleans and metal and guys that, dig it. And it's just, I don't know why there's still such a drastic separation of it. Like I've definitely become more open-minded over the years and I enjoy both. I think that both can be done, but I think it just needs to be genuine. I don't think it needs to be this obvious attempt to try to pry cleans into something
mhm,
that's as brutal like Whitechapel and how brutal Whitechapel was. It just felt like an obvious trying to do something that we haven't done. We got to do it sort of deal. You know what I mean? I don't know.
yeah, I feel the exact same way. Like, I don't mind clean vocals as long as there's not, it doesn't feel like a gimmick or you're just trying to cash in on whatever's popular, which is, I feel like a lot of the bands were doing. Like, I feel like Whitechapel, obviously, big offender. Suicide Silence when they dropped the self-titled album. So how well that worked out for them. Another bands that do it is like it is all dependent on the mood. When Lamb of God did it, it was a shock. However, when it came out, it was like, okay, this works, this fits.
Hmm.
Even when Cal Decap, it's not technically clean, but it sounds clean compared to everything else. That had
Oh yeah,
like shock, but it was like, okay, it fits. It fits
very
in the
tastefully
music.
done. Yeah.
This feels very, like you said, like I saw someone else do it. I saw it was big for them. I want to do it for my band, kind of thing. I want to show
Yeah, it's
how.
just
I also feel like it's almost like a wanking off kind of thing. Like I can also sing kind of thing. So,
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
but
kind of showing his whatever. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm gonna give this one. Yeah, I'll probably give this one a 5. Would you give it?
Yeah.
You gave it a 5 as well, I think.
Yeah, I give it a 5 too, yeah. And really, I would give it lower, but I'm gonna give them a 5 just for the name and the rapport that they did have. So up next, we got um, I I want to highlight that difference in years. It's so 3 year difference versus the regular 2. So they took some more time with this one, probably for good reason. But the Valley in 2019, and this was better. Okay, they kind of bounced back, and I think he maybe got out of his little touting phase or whatever the fuck it was. But yeah, I thought it was at least better. You at least got some heaviness. Yeah, he's kind of still sticking with the cleans and stuff, but we're back to a concentrated concept, which I think is good. It's still not really traditional Whitechapel. It's still kind of something new that they're doing because they went on this whole theme of this whole is it like a witchcraft theme? I never really read into it too much. I just know that it's at least a step in a better direction from the previous release.
So from what I understand, the Valley is actually it's an introspection. It's Phil Bozeman's childhood of
Oh,
him with
okay.
his abusive stepfather and his mother um, being the abused and also having, I want to say she has some kind of mental illness, which is where the when a demon defiles a witch comes from. The mental illness is the demon infecting her and making her kind of go crazy, which is what led him to, I think, run away.
Okay, interesting. I did not know that. I thought it was more based on actual uh sort of just uh, like a legit witchcraft theme, but maybe not. I don't know. I guess so. But I don't know. I don't know. They kind of have the valley, this woods sort of vibe. Witchcraft is in there too, or I don't know. Maybe I'm just saying witchcraft because witch, but I I don't know. You at least get heavy Whitechapel back, so
Mhm.
that's what I was kind of thrilled about. Um, Definitely seems aggressive again, but still not, my favorite Whitechapel. So I don't know. I didn't give this a ton of attention, but it's at least better. Um, I give this one a 7.5.
All right. Um, so I had already written Whitechapel off at this point, especially when I heard that they were going to incorporate more clean singings, and I did not give two shits about any of the singles they dropped about it. I want to say they dropped Brimstone, Black Bear, and stuff like that.
Hickory Creek. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did. I think I checked out Black Bear. Like, all right, it's just the typical groove. Whitechapel, they only care about groove now. They don't care about like intense heaviness and like fast furiness that I kind of crave from Whitechapel. But it came out, and I saw a bunch of people talking. Like, all right, I'll actually sit down and listen to it. And once the concept kind of rang true, is I figured out the concept is like, oh, this was I actually do really like this album. I don't think it I think it's a nice side adventure for Whitechapel. If I would take this and make this any other band, I think this would be a perfect album. I think my only issue with this album is that it's coming from Whitechapel. Other than that, I really like this album. When Demon defiles a witch, talking about his mother, it's one of those, and once you have that whole like concept in your head, it's like, oh, this is actually like super sad and deep and shit. And
Mhm.
then gets into the forgiveness is weakness, which I love. It kind of goes back to that more venomous, angry, coming from a real place for Whitechapel. Talk. It seems like he's talking about his stepfather, um, like just hatred and violence. Like this is the Whitechapel I miss, and with all those kind of concepts in place, that's where I think those clean songs kind of hit better with like songs like Hickory Creek and Third Depth, to where the realness of him dealing with that, him running away from his mom and her eventually dying, which I want to say there's a song on New Era of Corruption dedicated to her. 'Cause it sounds like he that's what the one thing I like about this album is introspective and a topic that I can see someone not wanting to talk about, to where he feels shame for leaving his mother with this abusive stepfather that seemed to have beat the shit out of him and his mom.
Mhm.
So it's one of those things like it's it hits you, it's good. It just is weird that it's Whitechapel. So I'm gonna probably give
Yeah.
this an 8. It's still not as good in my opinion as their uh, first 3 albums, but I feel like this is a step I was not expecting to like from Whitechapel based off of their past 3 albums. So yeah, I'm gonna give
Sure.
this an 8.
Okay.
You gave it, was it 7?
7.5.
Okay, so I'm gonna move everything down.
Now I gotta say, it's either this album or the next album, Ken, comes out in 2021. There's a line of lyrics that I cannot ignore that it just totally turns me off. And that's kind of this whole stepping out of the golden era of Whitechapel. It's like I I definitely get like the liking of the more real shit, and like I think that is cool, but a line that I cannot get past is something something and the sweetest little girl. And he's basically talking about what he has, and it's just like, ugh, I don't know, dude. I don't think that really belongs in metal. But do you know what line I'm talking about or what
I think
track that
that's
is?
from I think that's from Let It Burn or Let Me Burn.
Oh, okay.
And I want to say the only reason I was fine with that was I feel like that's where it goes back to this serial killer who can't stop his urges. So even though he has like the perfect life, he's still committing these atrocities. I had it
Oh,
all. The woman of my dreams. I had the perfect world and the sweetest little girl.
mhm. Oh, okay.
Like it
See,
is weird, but
I guess I took it wrong, and I was kind of relating it more to. I thought that Phil had maybe had a kid in the album phase and was just like talking about everything he has, and I was just like, oh, what the fuck? But I don't know. I guess that's on me for not doing my research. But
Yeah.
anyways, um,
Kin.
so I was wrong on that one. Yeah. Anyways, we're up to Ken now. 2021. Uh, I just didn't get into this one, man. I just did not. I will find you. Like there's epic moments that sound brutal as hell in this, but I just still feel like the lyrics are just I'm a little lost with. I don't really connect to them that much. Um, but there's cool moments in this album. With that being said, I will find you. I think there's some brutality in that one. Lost Boy, I don't know. I don't really like that line when it's when he kind of says it, brings it up. I don't know. I didn't know the theme to this one either, though. What do you think of this album? With that being said,
I'm gonna sound like a complete asshole on this one, but so when it comes to the Valley, I thought that was very good and introspective when he talks about his childhood and his mother and all that. Ken
hmm
seems to be the exact same thing, and with that, like I understand making an album about it, but making two albums, I don't give a shit. Stop talking about this. Let's talk about some. Let's like, what is there more to explore on this? Even in like the Wikipedia thing, it's the same concept, except he's saying it's a fictional take on a non-fictional story. It's like, so we're just telling the same story, just a different way. Like I feel like everything that needed to be said was on this on the Valley. I did not. I listened to this the other day, like I think for the first time, and I can't. I can't get it. Like the Valley had kind of almost a shock value of like, oh, they're doing this now, and it's introspective. He's talking about real things of his life. It's good. That's all worn off with this one since it feels like it's the exact same thing. It's almost like when we talked about Behemoth. I was talking about how some of the newer Behemoth albums are feels like leftovers of a previous album. They just somehow built a whole album around it. That's pretty much what Ken feels like. It doesn't feel like it feels like songs that weren't cut to the Valley just expanded into a whole album. I didn't really find any meat to cling on to this album. I remember the big song that people were clinging on to was Blood Soaked Symphony, which listening to is
hmm
like, I don't understand. Like, it's kind of heavy, but we know Whitechapel. This is not heavy in the Whitechapel lore. So
hmm
for me, I do not like this album, and I think this. I feel like I I at the time it seemed like it was well received, but I feel like that maybe there's more people that have the same opinion I have of this album. Otherwise, I don't think they would have gone back to the heaviness with their newest single. I feel like they're realizing, oh, people aren't responding to this as much as we thought. Maybe we should go back to uh, the heavy stuff. So
that
I,
that's kind of the
I'm.
gist that I'm getting, man. Because it's like, why else would you come out with this
Hmm.
nasty somatic defilement era track?
Hmm.
Total sidewinder from what they were doing. If what they were doing had been successful, they probably wouldn't have done that. But yeah, man, I'm right there with you, Ken. It fell off, and it's just a run in, or I don't know, another one in the era of Whitechapel that I just did not delve into. So I don't know. I'm gonna give this one a 6.5.
I think I'm going to give it a just a flat five. I'm about the same vibe as I am with this of Mark of the Blade. So
Yeah.
all right, so that's at 11.5, second to last.
With
That
that
is
being
our.
said, we have great Whitechapel to look forward to. They're
Oh
back.
yeah.
2024 with their latest track, A Visceral Wretch. Absolutely balls through the wall, fucking brutal, totally unexpected. I didn't know where the band was going after Ken. and I was kind of sad. But it sounds like I don't know, maybe they had a light bulb that went off, and for good reason, man. It sounds fucking brutal. The high screams specifically, he's writing high screams in this newest track. I think more than any of the old tracks that I've ever heard of Whitechapel. So I thought that was pretty interesting too.
Yeah, there was that was something that kind of threw me off with the new track, and it's something I'm a little worried about because I was noticing while I was going refreshing through their discography, it sounds like he's doing less and less of his those lows that kind of got us into him, like with the somatic defilement era, those like gurgly sounds. He's not doing that. It's almost like his lows. I don't know if he's not able to do the lows. Maybe he is. He just doesn't like to do them anymore. But that new track did not have that same lows. It feels like his voice has changed a little bit. So maybe he is focusing more on the highs.
Yeah, I mean, he opens up with it, which is fucking monstrous sounding, but yeah, he doesn't do it as much. I don't know. I don't know. I'm definitely excited for it though. I'm great. I'm so
Oh, just a
excited
second.
that they're back.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, excited for new Whitechapel.
Oh yeah. Probably next year. I was thinking about that today of last episode of the year, doing a big bunch of different things of like doing obviously each of our top tens, then also doing a thing of where we rank like out of all the albums we've listened to, best debut albums by bands.
Mm,
Then
okay.
also uh most anticipated releases of 2025 that we might get. Obviously, I think
Okay.
Whitechapel will be one. Distant Tomb, um, maybe Triptychon. We'll see.
Ooh, that would be nice, man.
Hmm.
That would be fun. Yeah, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, that is our Whitechapel discography. We got This Is Exile at number one, Somatic Defilement as number two, and number three we got New Era of Corruption.
Pretty standard. That was like straight in line, I guess, with their
Yeah,
takeoff. So, or well, I guess a little mix matched, but that's all right. Yeah, dude. The band started out stellar. I'm excited to
yeah,
see what comes of the future.
yeah. And as you can probably see from this, it almost looks like almost in reverse chronological order. Some mixes matches, like you said, like Somatic Defilement, This Is Exile kind of switch. The Valley kind of just
Hmm.
in there randomly. Yeah, seems like the Valley was a nice addition to sound. It was a good throwback, but it seemed like they were kind of progressively becoming less interesting, at least our opinion.
Right, for sure.
But hopefully, this new album will get us excited for Whitechapel again.
For sure. I'm looking forward to it, man. Well, who do you want to do next?
I don't know. It's your choice.
Hmm. Okay. Uh, mm, all right. Two oddball choices, only
Okay.
because I mentioned both, or we've mentioned both in the same podcast tonight. Periphery or
Okay.
Pantera?
As differences. Um. So if we do Pantera, are we going to do the underground stuff, like the glam metal stuff, or are we just going to stick to like the five?
We're doing Pantera.
Okay, the good Pantera.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Periphery would be fun too, though. Let's do Pantera.
Okay. Hell yeah. I'm excited, man. I haven't
Actually,
jammed that band in a while. Oh,
do you care if I would have to talk to him if I invited my brother to help join in the Pantera one because Pantera was
oh,
like his favorite band growing up.
yeah.
Uh,
No, that'd be cool.
I can ask him see if he wants to join. Yeah, we can
Okay.
just. I mean, just one little oddball
Yeah.
feature if you're okay with that. Because I always thought about
Yeah.
like if we were to do Slayer or Pantera, I would want at least see if it's okay if we had him join in on that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm totally for that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll do hand terror next week.
All right, hell yeah, I look forward to that. All right, man. Well, I gotta hop off here. I'm doing the unthinkable, and I'm gonna wake up at 4 o'clock to go hunt before I go to work.
Oh, that sounds terrible. So in three
I
and a
am
half
that.
hours.
Yes, I am that fucking addicted to it, man. I'm crazy.
I got you. Well, have fun, man. But yeah, if you enjoyed this podcast, go ahead and check us out on TikTok, YouTube, like us on Facebook, and just subscribe to us on Spotify as well. Or if you have some questions or comments, send us an email at deathmetaldaddies@gmail.com.
Hell yeah.
Until
Eating
then,
the dogs. Eating the dogs. Eating the dogs. Eating the dogs.
we're Death Metal Daddies.
Death Metal Daddy's out.
Until
Eating
then.
the dogs. Eating the dogs.